Yeah, it's actually 7, not. Actually, I think that clock got slower.
Slower. Oh, you're right, it did.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live and the mics are on and it's picking up what I'm saying right there. Perfect.
Call the June 23rd Select Board meeting to order. We are being broadcast tonight on RCTV, Xfinity Channel 9 and FiOS Channel 31. Also on Zoom and live on RCTV's YouTube channel. We are going to have Troop 702 lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for that. Tonight's agenda, we will have public comment, followed by our town manager report at 7:15, community spotlight at 7:20. At 7:25, we will go through the consent agenda. 7:30, we'll have our Eagle Scout recognition. 7:40, public hearing to discuss and vote on amendments to section 3.2.2.14 of the Select Board policy to increase the hours of permitted sales for section 12 licensees to allow sales between 10 a.m. and noon on Sundays and certain holidays as authorized by GLC 138, subsection 33B. A list of all Section 12 licensees is appended to the agenda. 7:50, another public hearing to discuss and vote on amendment to Select Board Policy, Section 4.6, solid waste recycling, collection and disposable rules. 8:10, discuss and vote on volunteer appointments to the Community Planning and Development Commission, CPDC. 8:20, discuss town building projects, including pickleball and High Street. 8:45, discuss Matera Cabin. 9:15, liaison reports, and 9:25, future agendas. Do we have Karen online by any chance? Okay.
She's coming.
Oh, she is, okay.
Yep.
All right, we can start with any public comment here in the room. Mr. Bocci, name, address, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, it's on. Carlo Main Street. First off, I want to thank the parking clerk for waiving a ticket that I received on Green Street right next to my house for overnight parking. I've been there for 17 years. Don't normally park on the street, but sometimes I have in the past and never gotten a ticket. So I was quite surprised when I got a ticket for overnight parking. And I know about the overnight parking ban in the winter. And I guess it's enforced year-round, and it's at the chief of police discretion. So, unbeknownst to me, they can give tickets whenever they want, and yet I've never gotten a ticket, or any of my kids have gotten a ticket for overnight parking. So I'm hoping the board and the town manager can address this, because downtown is the most congested area in town, and sometimes people have to park on the street. I understand in the winter, it can be a problem, but in the summer, spring, and fall, I don't see it as a problem or a safety hazard for public safety. So I'm thankful for the parking clerk to take care of that ticket. I'm not aware of other people that have gotten tickets, but maybe they have. So overnight parking is allowed, to my knowledge, in the rest of the town and on the tree-lined streets, but in downtown, I guess we're not allowed to park overnight with very strict parking, and some people have no driveway. So again, thank you. I hope this gets addressed. I didn't receive any notice. Communication, as you know, is the key to let residents know what's going on. So it would be nice to know, by the way, we're enforcing this now, and maybe I wouldn't have parked on the street, but I just thought I was going out, and I didn't go out, and I left it there. So thank you, and thanks for letting me speak. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment here in the room? Any public comment online that you see?
Hands are raised.
No hands are raised, okay. 7:15, town manager report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So a few things I want to review tonight for the board and the community. First, I want to invite residents and business owners to come to my office hours on Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. We will be having lemonade on the common, weather permitting. I Here it's going to be quite warm. And I really enjoy doing these office hours. I do them once a month at the Pleasant Street Center and then once at Town Hall. And it's a great way to connect with folks directly and help solve problems, and I get good ideas too. So I think it's fun. Come out for lemonade. We'll do lemonade also in July at the Pleasant Street Center on the patio. That is the best time, after the office hours, hanging out on the patio with folks. So that is a good time. Second, tonight in the consent agenda is the budget for the boards that the board took up last time. I have funded the full request, but there's an important note here. The Conservation Commission's request included $2,000 for a new bench, which we talked about at length last time. We have 3 polywood benches in the Millette-Soames-Morgan area that have failed, as you may remember. We are not going to replace any of those benches. 2 have been through the warranty process and the replacement parts have been received. The 3rd is completing that warranty process. So we're going to replace the benches we have. I fully funded the request, and some of that funding, the balance of that funding will be used to pour concrete pads to put the benches on. We're going to relocate some of them to reduce heat stress on the benches, which we think may be a contributing factor, but Polywood has not given us any information as to why these might be failing all in the same sort of way. So I just wanted to let the board know that we aren't buying new benches when we're facing an override. We're using all of our resources to, maintain our facilities and so forth. Okay. And I also wanted to just mention that we do have a conservation gift fund where residents can make gifts to defray costs of projects and equipment, and there'll be some more coming out on that soon. Third, as part of our website redesign project 5 years ago, our service agreement included a 5-year refresh. So we are about to hit that mark, and we're going to start having those conversations in the weeks to come. That's included in our service agreement, so it's not an additional cost. To my knowledge. We are looking for new photographs to put on our website. We have a lot of amazing artists and photographers in the community who we used on the present website. We'd like to refresh some of our photos, so we are accepting new photos to capture the beauty and character of the community, and I ask that they are sent to townmanager@readingma.gov. June 17th, the governor signed the updated town charter, which passed at town meeting. So constituent services officer is now a real thing. It's no longer ombudsman, plus all the other work that the bylaw committee did in the charter review committee. So I want to congratulate all of the people involved in that work. And that's here, that's ready to go, and the town clerk's going to start sending those charters out. So this is an interesting piece of good news. We received notification from Mass DOT that the reconstruction of Walker's Brook Drive project is eligible for federal highway funding as part of the Transportation Improvement Plan. So the program that is called the TIP. You maybe have heard us talk about, we want to get a project on the TIP. It's been years since we've had a project on the TIP. I think the last one was West Street. So the town is responsible for costs associated with design, right-of-way, any right-of-way acquisition, and environmental permitting. The funding would be up to $6.285 million, and it includes bid items, police details, construction engineering, contingencies, and reimbursable utility locations. So, relocations rather. So that is great news. That's several years out. There's a lot of work to be done coming up to that. TIP projects don't happen fast, but they are federal dollars that are not funded by the community. So that's exciting. Staff will be meeting in the coming weeks to flesh out local obligations and plan future work, including community engagement opportunities. And we can bring this back to the board for more information down the road. So it's great news. It will improve traffic flows to that corridor, and it will allow people to finally take a left-hand turn out of Market Basket. So that's great. And then finally, the next episode of Reading Between the Lines is up as of earlier tonight. It's titled Readying for the Revolution. And this episode highlights Alan and Ace Folds and historical perspectives on how Reading navigated the early days of the revolution. It's a neat 22 minutes as the community and everywhere are getting ready to celebrate our 250th anniversary of independence. We have 2 future podcasts that are already recorded and they're being edited. Those include a second Revolutionary Roots sort of podcast, and then one that will be where I met with Chris Cole, the director of DPW, and we talked about the new rubbish and recycling contract, so people can kind of listen to it and not have to try to digest a lot of written information. So it's a great way to reach people where they are and different modalities of sharing information. And I also want to extend my thanks to RCTV for all of their work on their project, and I want to congratulate them on a successful fundraiser last night. The executive director told me she has fundraisers plans, I think, for almost every month of the year, which is great news. And so it's a great way for people to, engage with RCTV, and they're doing this to augment their PEG income from the town. So more information on Facebook and on the website and on RCTV. Those are that's my town manager report, Madam Chair.
Chris?
Thanks, Melissa. And thanks, Jane. So you said we have to mail the charter out to everybody?
Not the
Or-
town, no, not just state agencies in certain places, yeah.
Okay.
We'll post the charter.
I was concerned again.
Our budget for postage is strapped, so we're not mailing it to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Great question.
Okay, great, we can move on to committee spotlight.
So I have a couple of brief things to highlight here. The Let Grow Independence Challenge launched on Sunday. This is sponsored and planned by a number of departments, including the school department, the Coalition for Prevention and Support, Reading Recreation, the Public Library, and the Police Department. Let Grow, which I corrected in the press release to be Let's Grow. It's not that. It's Let Grow, as in let them grow. Let the children experience independence. So this is a way to build age-appropriate independence while staying active and engaged throughout the summer. Kids complete challenges, submit challenge slips at locations around town for prizes, and there's an entry for some grand prizes to be drawn at the end of the summer. So shout out to Jacqueline Pelusi, the inclusion specialist for Reading Public Schools, along with Erica Millette for the Coalition, and Jim Sullivan for Reading Recreation for spearheading the initiative. Information's on the town website. So it's a great thing for parents to get their kids involved in the summer and teaching, deliberately how to live into independence with kids. So it's a great thing. It builds confidence. The Reading Lions Club held their Friends and Family Day, so we want to congratulate them on a successful day. And I also want to congratulate Albert Pless and all his volunteers and his team for a fantastic Juneteenth celebration on the Common. I could not attend due to family obligations. We all know it's a busy time of year with graduations, weddings, Mother's and Father's Day celebrations, and so forth. So I was sorry I couldn't be there, but I understood it was very well attended and just a fantastic, another year of Juneteenth. I've been in the past, so I was sorry I couldn't be there this weekend. Bunratty Tavern celebrated 11 years in business over the weekend. They posted that on Facebook, so that's very exciting. Cornerstone of our community. And then I want to remind people not to forget about Porch Fest coming up on Saturday. Alan and Ace Folds wore their Porch Fest t-shirts to the podcast recording last week. They're fantastic. Check out readingporchfest.com for a schedule of locations and times, and that is all free, and it's all done by volunteers. So, yeah. Thank you to Alan and Ace for spearheading that.
Great,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you. We will move to 7:25 consent agenda. Karen, I got your note on that. I don't know if you realized that the one thing that the BAS committee didn't agree on, we have on the agenda later. So did you still want to remove that? There was only one board and committee that Sal and Karen didn't agree on.
And which one was that?
CPDC. So we already have that scheduled as an agenda item. Everything else they had agreed on.
Yeah, so I requested that we pull the consent agenda out, pull this out of the consent agenda because you guys are a subcommittee, which means that you're helping us do the work of the board, but we also need a chance to talk to you about how it went and have comments. When you put things in a consent agenda, there is no discussion. So we always, as a rule, approve things in batches, but we cannot discuss things in a consent agenda, so we should still take it up in the same order, just not have, I want to have discussion.
So you would like to remove her from the consent agenda?
Please.
Okay, all right. So we will remove the appointment of volunteer boards and committees and just add that to have a discussion on the full VAS process just before we discuss CPDC in particular. And if everyone's okay, we will move forward with a vote on the remainder of the consent agenda items. Does that work? Okay. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Karen Rose Gillis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Okay. We will move on to our Eagle Scout recognition.
Just fill in wherever, and then when I call your name, you can step up. Cool. You guys can spill that way. Make some room. Hi, guys.
Hi.
All right, so first things, I'll introduce myself. My name's Ian Nelson. I am actually the Charter Org rep right now for Troop 702 here in town. First off, I want to start by thanking the Select Board for the opportunity to come in front of you guys. I want to thank Jane and all her staff for helping us get up here in front of you guys. I want to thank all the town employees and the volunteers, some of which are sitting in this room, that work with the Scouts throughout the course of the years, many years now, how excellent they all are. I'd like to give a specific shout out. So this year I'd like to shout out Amy Lannon and her library staff. This is the second year in a row that we've worked together on the Arbor Day planting back in April with her. She's great to include us in all that. She's also now working with one of my scouts for an Eagle project, who will hopefully be in front of you guys next year. I want to thank the adult volunteers in the troop for anyone that are watching. A lot of the adult volunteers make this troop churn along, as well with the scouts behind me. And lastly, a special thanks to Andrew Ryan, who's hiding in the back there. He's the new scoutmaster for Troop 702. He's taken over for me. He's doing a great job, and he was going to come up here, but I asked if I could get up here and speak in front of you guys, mostly because these scouts behind me, these guys were my core leadership when I was a scout master for the troop. These guys did all the hard work, and I just sat in the back and watched them do what they did amazingly so. So he was great about letting me do this. So normally I come up here and I try to talk a little bit about the state of scouting here in Reading, which has always been strong for over 100 years now. I'm going to kind of gloss over it and get into it and talk about something else instead. So we're doing excellent. We have over 80 scouts right now, 60 of them which are showing up every Thursday night at various locations throughout town, going on monthly trips, doing all that stuff. Instead, I realized I've been here before, and I haven't described to you guys exactly what it is to become an Eagle Scout. I know some of you guys, or most of you all, attended the most recent Eagle Court of Honor, where you get a kind of a lengthy lecture. But for all the people watching and anyone who doesn't know what it takes to get to be an Eagle Scout, it's a long process. It's a hefty process, and I want to kind of go through it with them. So let's see. Just off the top, the cut and dry, you have to do 161 requirements. These requirements are as simple as tying a knot, and then they get more complicated, like cooking meals, and they get complicated about explaining what the rights and roles of responsibility of a United States citizen is. There's all types of different requirements they got to get through. They have to earn 21 merit badges. Those 21 merit badges all have their own set of requirements. So they have to demonstrate working knowledge of such a variety of topics. Most people think of scouting as outdoorsmanship, and I think about a third of it is outdoorsmanship. We talk a lot about citizenship. There's 3 Eagle required citizenship merit badges: citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, and citizenship in the world. And that's when they really learn what it takes and learn how government works and a whole bunch of aspects to it. They have to have donated at least 16 months of leadership back to the troop. When they get into the high school point, they start giving back. The troop runs because the older kids teach the younger kids. They show them how things are done. They also show them how we do things in the sense of the culture behind it, and really deal with a lot of they deal with everything. And like I said, the adults kind of stand in the back, and we're there to maybe drive them places and pay some bills and stuff like that. But for the most part, these kids behind me and all the Eagles that have come before you they're the ones who give back and lead. They have to do an Eagle Board of Review. What is an Eagle Board of Review? That's the absolute coolest thing in the world. They have to go and basically do an oral board, something you might see in the job world later on, something if they go into a branch of military service, when they go to any type of job, they have to sit down in front of people they have no idea, and they have to answer questions. They go through practice board of reviews the whole time, but the Eagle one's a real big one. They spend about 45 minutes talking about their scouting career and explaining to it. A lot of parents, when they see what a board of review is, they kind of buy in the system and realize that this is something different. This isn't just a sports team or another activity, but it really challenges the kids. And then last is the service projects, and that's what I want to get into now. So they have to do a service project. So I'm going to use each of these scouts behind me to kind of talk about a different aspect of it. So in no particular order, if Marcus, you step up here real quick. Marcus Villarreal, he graduated Austin Prep this year. He played varsity soccer. He was the captain of the varsity track and field team. He's a member of National Honor Society, and he was the president of the Sports Analytics Club as well. So many scouts, how do they choose their service project? Well, many scouts tap back something that might have happened in the past, something they enjoyed. Marcus really enjoyed the passport system for the DCR, the state park system in which you would visit the various locations, you would get a passport, you'd stamp it and you go forward. They'd moved away from that project and he wanted to bring it back to life. Well, unfortunately that was an unachievable goal for him, but instead he worked with DCR and he ended up doing informational signage throughout the Middlesex Fells State Park. So he was able to work with them, go back and forth, and it was a lengthy process, and in the end there was signage throughout there that he installed, helping educate the public and allow them to learn from his hard work. Marcus is headed to Brown in the fall for applied math and science. Thank you very much, Marcus.
Thank you.
Next, Caleb McGonigal. You got Caleb. All right, Caleb graduated Reading Memorial High this past month, or a month and a little ago now. He's a member of National Honor Society, and he was the president of the ski club. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what is a scope of an Eagle project. Sometimes we have an issue with kids shooting the moon or not being enough where it's just, it's a volunteer type project. So his Eagle project was at the hospice house on Haverhill Street, the Sawtell Hospice House. He went, spoke with them, and realized it was a quality of life type project improvement that needed to get done. In particular, their parking lot, there was just a pathway through there that froze all the time in the wintertime. So whenever the people wanted to go and see their loved ones at the hospice house, they had to navigate the ice field that was down there. So instead, he went there, he met with them, they mentioned that, and he said, I can do that, not a problem. Not only in the scope, and that's right in the wheelhouse of what we do. We build bridges, whether in the town forest or in the hospice house, whatever the case may be. Perfect little scope. The scouts have to fundraise and do it. The benefactor for this was stunned. She thought it was going to have to come out of her operating budget. Instead, part of the process is the scout has to raise the money in order to get this stuff, these things funded. So he went there, we constructed the bridge, put it in place, and hopefully no more ice issues. During the process, we also learned that there was a sub pump discharging water right into that path, of course, causing it a disaster. So we did some landscaping and some driveway repair at the same time. So that's kind of the scope of what a project is. Caleb's headed to UMass Amherst for civil engineering in the fall. Thank you very much, Caleb. Next up is Abigail Nelson. Abigail Nelson graduated Reading High this spring. She was the Best Buddies Secretary, member of National Honor Society. She enjoyed being a student teacher at the Killam School, and she was the captain of her dance team. So the Eagle Project is all about management. These kids are told they have to do something from an idea all the way to completion. Most kids at 16, 17-year-olds have never done anything like that. A lot of adults have never done anything like that. So they have to sit down, fill out their workbook, and figure out everything. They have to do things like come up with the plans. They have to draw plans. They have to meet with individuals for structural concerns, whatever the case may be. They have to come up with itemized lists. They have to come up with budgets. They have to meet with the stakeholders. So what Abby did was she installed a sunshade over at the Christian Cooperative Preschool at Old South Methodist there. Their play structure is out by that white fence on the by Main Street, and the kids would go out there and cook. So it was requested that she put up a sunshade. So she had to figure out how that whole process worked, and then when it came time to get it done, she had some management issues and challenges because you don't pour concrete in the wintertime. And with the calendar coming and the calendar churning away, we had to figure out, she had to meet with stakeholders, and there's all types of, there's all types of problems like hitting the microphone that take place during it, and these kids have to overcome and figure it all out. Abigail's headed up to Endicott to learn elementary education in the fall. I will also take a moment and I'll point out Troop 702 is over 111 years old. About 8-9 years ago, females were allowed into scouting and were able to earn the Eagle rank at that point. And Abigail is the first female to come out of Troop 702 as an Eagle Scout. So congrats to her, represented well. Thank you, Abigail. All right, Thomas Cockrell. Thomas graduated Reading Memorial High School this past spring. He is a member of a National Honor Society, and he's also the varsity swim team captain. Thomas participated in the Town Forest Restoration Rejuvenation Project. If you'd like to know more about that, you can go on to the readingma.gov website under the Town Forest Committee and learn all about it. But long story short, about 100 years ago, scouts went out there and planted a bunch of red pines, all in neat little rows. Well, 100 years later, there's been a problem with some of that, and the Town Forest Committee is working really hard in order to bring back the health of the town forest. Thomas joined in on that. He wanted to give back and handle that. So we talked about management, the scopes of the projects, how it all gets done. Well, then leadership happens. And leadership can be very hard for some of these kids. They get up there, they got to come up, they got to instruct all of their volunteers what's necessary to do. They got to keep the project on task. His in particular, not only were they putting saplings in the ground, but then they were putting cages around it to try to protect it from the wildlife and stuff like that. So he had to explain all that whole process, organize it, keep them going. Do you remember how many trees he planted total?
140.
140 trees went into the ground that day. He went through it. And he's got to lead adults, and he's got to lead little scouts, and he's got to lead older scouts. One of the common questions that get asked at the Eagle Board of Review is who's harder to lead, the adults or the scouts? And I will tell you, the good news is about a 50-50 answer who's harder to lead. Thomas is headed to WPI in the fall, where he's going to be studying computer engineering. Thank you, Thomas. All right, last two. Jack Goodfellow. All right, Jack Goodfellow also graduated Red Memorial High School this spring. He was a varsity lacrosse academic All-American, varsity wrestling. He was an officer in the ski club and a member of National Honor Society. All right, so scouting is great because it touches on so many different aspects, parts of the community. What Jack did was he built a storage container for the Masonic Hall on Haven Street for the Reading Food Pantry. It's a whole bunch of different organizations, different stakeholders that he had to reach out. It's because of our involvement on so many things, whether it's the annual flower sale out on the Common or doing the flags out on the flags on Memorial Day. We touch so many aspects of Reading community, and Jack was good enough to connect two of them to the Masonic Hall, is really a strong supporter of the food pantry, which is out of the Old South Church, and the problem was it was out of control down there. So he came up with a way to organize it, to store it, and then be able to make regular deliveries from Haven Street over to Salem Street and make that all work. So we touch so much of it, and we get support from every aspect of the community that it's really something awesome, something to see. Jack is headed to Babson in the fall to study finance. Cool?
Yep.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
All right, last but certainly not least, Zach Lazat. So Zach graduated Reading Memorial High School as well this spring. He is a member of National Honor Society. I want to take a moment to talk about generosity. So the community is very so supportive of us. Every time we ask for something, we basically get it, whether it's Chris Cole and his team giving us the anchor we need to put our monkey bridge up during Friends and Family Day, or whatever it is, the people always answer the call when we ask. Sometimes it's financial. So Zach installed bat boxes down at the Reading Rifle and Revolver Club, which is our new charter org rep. He put these bat boxes in because, as we all know, bats control mosquito populations very well. So not too far from where Recal is, where the pickleball courts will be, or where the soccer ball and baseball fields are, there are 3 bat boxes put up there to help control the mosquito population. So he had to raise money, like I talked about. He opened up his GoFundMe, and less than 2 hours later, he had to shut it down because he had hit his target. When we asked, they answered. And then for the remainder of the 24 hours, he was constantly getting emails saying, hey, I would like to continue to donate. I'd like to continue to donate. How can I do so? What we learned out of that is we needed to do a suggested donation because we had some people give a lot of money, which was fascinating. So there's a lot of generosity people out there that give to the troop. I also want to take a moment to mention the Reading Rotary Club, the Masonic Hall, and the Public Safety Associations. They're always regular donators to the Eagle projects around town. So with that, Zach is headed to the Savannah College of Art and Design to study film in the fall. So now with that, I hope you guys understand a little bit more what it takes to become an Eagle Scout, what an Eagle Scout project is all about. And other than that, just say thanks again for letting us come up here and talk for a bit. Thank you.
I'd like to give you all our round of applause.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, congratulations to all of you. You're all graduates this year. Oh, what are you gonna do with yourself next year? You gonna,
I'm sure there's plenty of things for me to do.
but really, really impressive. And I'm also one of the board members of the Reading Scholarship Foundation, so I was paying attention to all your majors. And you may have already applied and you got 4 years of college bills, but 4 years we want you applying to the Reading Scholarship Foundation. Super easy, no essays, checkbox, list down that you were a lacrosse player, your major. Anyway, well wishes to you all as you head off in the fall, and thank you for all your service to the town and the community.
Thank you.
Karen.
Congratulations to all of you. My son's an Eagle Scout, and I know that your parents probably had nothing to do with it. However, they probably in the back of their minds were trying to drag you over the line, as we all do. I think I cried at your ceremony at the church because it was so touching and it brought back so many beautiful memories when I was a Cub Scout leader or a den leader or treasurer and all of it. And I've made some great friends through the parents. So shout out to all the people listening that it's a great way to give to your community, get your kids involved. It's a super diverse group of kids that are usually involved, and it's a wonderful experience. So thank you very much for all that you've done, because you've done a lot.
Thank you.
Chris.
Thanks, Melissa. And thank you to all of you for all your contributions back to the town. I know that when I went to the Court of Honor, I didn't hear about the no cop, no stop scenario in your speech you just gave now. So, I just thought I'd bring that up again.
Thanks, Chris.
I say it every time I come to a stop sign now. So, you had a brief impact on my life in that short time. But no, thank you for all your projects. I could go on, over, how are these bat boxes actually working and all these other questions that I have. But, people aren't here to listen to me. So just thank you all for everything that you've done and what you'll continue to do.
So,
Just like congratulate all you guys, hopefully you do good in college. It's an amazing accomplishment. Thanks for giving back to the community, and good luck.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to all of you. It was years of hard work to get here. I know that. And thank you for the explanation of what it took to get here. So you all should be very proud of yourselves and that you've accomplished it and, going on to college next year. So, and thank you for all you've done for the community with all of your projects, because that's huge. And we have something here for you. For each of you, we have a certificate. Do you wanna? Caleb? Thomas? You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I know, I have so many questions too about the bat boxes. Jack?
Thank you.
Marcus?
Thank you.
Thank you, congratulations. Zachary? Thank you. Congratulations. Evan?
They're not here, unfortunately, we're unable to
Perfect.
join.
Everyone else? No. What about? Did everyone get them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
They're hiding it.
All right, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
I think we actually forgot one thing. Congratulations for being the first woman to graduate as an Eagle Scout. Yeah.
I think we're gonna take a board picture, quick. Scouts, yep. I think over there is the best, or should we do
We
it
can
here?
do it right here.
Right here is always the best.
But you guys step right into it. Blend in with it.
Interspersed amongst them. You guys are gonna have to get closer.
yeah, we might all have to squeeze a little bit. We might have to do
Get friendly.
reverse.
Like
I don't know if
we
this is
like
gonna
Jillian.
work like this.
Of course it will.
Yes.
Jane, why aren't you on the end?
Oh, no, it's the
Yep.
last
Oh,
place
yes.
I want to be
Yep.
on the end.
You're good.
Well, come in here then.
You don't need, you're good. All right, fine, hold on. Wait, now I gotta be in it and wreck it.
Now we gotta get.
Redoing.
I'll leave that.
Good job, Jen.
Good to go?
One of those. Okay.
Woo, enjoy your summer.
Ladies, great job.
Yeah.
Great projects.
I didn't want to say anything about that no cop stuff.
Congratulations.
Boy, I heard that a lot.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job.
See you.
Thanks, Andrew.
It's like the best night.
That is so awesome.
It's good times.
Yeah.
Right on time.
Yeah.
All right, we will move on to 7:40, public hearing, discuss and vote on amendments to section 3.2.14 of the select board policies to increase the hours of permitted sales for section 12 licensees to allow sales between 10 and noon on Sundays and certain holidays as authorized by GLC 138 subsection 33B. A list of all section 12 licensees is appended to the agenda. We probably have a motion to open the public hearing.
Yep, hang on a second, sorry. And is somebody ready to, Sally, ready to jump in? All right, hang on one second.
So
All right, 4.6.
I'll move to waive the reading of it.
Okay, to the inhabitants of the town of Reading, so thank you.
So,
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Karen Rose Gillis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Open the meeting. And do we have just what's in our packet, Jane? I assume?
Yep, so this is, if you approve this tonight, this is the brunch bill. It was passed at town meeting. Now tonight, you're amending your policies. And if you approve this, then the town manager's office will notify each licensee. We'll send them an amended license with the new hours. It's no cost to them, and they'll get it automatically, every single one of them. In your packet, I think on page 3, Maddie, is that correct? Is a list of the impacted businesses. I think there's 21 section 12 licensees, so you can see there who they are. And we did send notification out to the establishments notifying them that they will get a new license if the board approves this. And my understanding is that our economic development director also went and spoke to all of the licensees today.
Yes.
And updated them as well, just to be aware. Okay, thank you for that. He was not asked to do that, so I appreciate that. So that is what I have for you right now.
Great.
Karen, I was just gonna ask, is there any feedback you wanna share incidentally that you might have gotten while you were talking to them? And thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, yeah. To clarify, I did, hi, Kevin McCarthy, Economic Development Senior Planner. I didn't go to actually all of the licensees, as I see the complete list now. I did go to the restaurant ones, focusing on the ones that would probably target brunch. As a just thought that was
Right, because the Knights of Columbus is on here.
exactly.
So, clubs, things like that.
And there's a couple that I did miss. Actually, I didn't get to Lisa, Venetian Moon. Couple of them expressed their intent to join us via Zoom tonight, so I'm not sure if they're on, but they certainly said they did. And I would defer to them for their comments. I know that they were all almost universally very happy with that decision, so they were looking forward to it.
Good, that's great to
So
hear.
I think that's, several of them mentioned that, our neighboring towns, almost all of them open earlier on the weekends than we do, and that, it does have a slight impact on their business, so that this should be a net positive for them.
Fantastic. Even with this new change, they still open earlier, like they're drinking at 6 a.m. on Sundays?
Well, several of them open at 11 on Sundays. So they open the doors at 11 and people are coming in, and now this would just enable them to actually, people to have that drink if they wanted.
Come on, and they can open at 10. You can serve at
I
10.
think it's 10 to 12, right?
Perfect. Do we have any public comment here in the room? Any public comment online?
Not that I see. No hands raised.
Any board input? Go ahead, Chris.
Thanks, Melissa. So this goes into effect after we vote on it, Jane? So tomorrow, there's no 14-day waiting period, nothing like that?
My understanding, it's in effect once the board changes.
Okay.
And we send out the licenses.
No, this is just one of those things that, that we can do that just seems like a no-brainer to maybe, drum up some additional business for the ones that you mentioned here on the weekend, well, at least on Sunday. So I think it's just a win-win, especially with other communities have already been doing it. I don't see why, that we couldn't. But it's good to see that this change moves in the right direction as opposed to other bylaws that typically look to restrict small businesses in Reading. This is doing the opposite. So it's good to see this for a change.
So,
This will just be included with the regular license. There's no additional applications or anything. It's just.
Not at all. No,
Okay.
no additional
fees,
applications, no fees.
yeah.
They will receive an amended license in the mail that they can post.
Sounds good.
Yep.
any other board comments? No. If we have a motion, we can close the hearing. There's no one else online, right, that we missed, and no one else in the room would like to speak?
Move to close the public hearing regarding the amendment to section 3.2.2.14 of the select board policies.
Second.
Seconded by Karen Rose Gillis. Any further discussion on the board? All those in favor of closing the hearing? Perfect. And then Karen, if we have a motion to make the changes?
Yeah, move to amend section 3.2.2.14 as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Sal. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you.
Thanks.
We will move on.
There's one more
One more
piece.
motion.
Oh, I
There's
apologize.
two pieces.
Sorry, I didn't
Yeah, no, I'm a
realize
little
that.
confused about this.
Yeah, what's the second piece?
We moved our policy and now we're gonna move to amend the liquor licenses
Oh,
themselves.
okay, got it.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
nope, it's all right. Move to amend the 2026 liquor licenses for all section 12 licensees to allow sales between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. noon on Sundays and certain holidays as authorized by general law C.138, 33B.
Second.
Seconded by Karen Rose Gillis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Okay. We will move on to 750, public hearing, discuss and vote on amendment to Select Board Policy, Section 4.6, solid waste recycling, collection, and disposal rules.
Madam Chair? Yes. While they're coming up here, just a pro forma note. We normally don't do public hearings for changes to board policies, and I don't want to set a precedent by doing that.
Yeah.
The reason we did today is because we needed to set the public hearing for the alcohol policy that you just approved.
Yep.
And because we had this coming up right on its heels.
Got it.
With the changes to another board policy, we felt that we didn't want to put our thumb on the scale one or the other, so we notified for both.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think
that's just the explanation.
More
for-
communication's better, but
Sure,
Good to know.
but it's not a requirement, and it's
Okay.
not a future requirement for a public hearing, so.
fantastic.
Thank you.
So good evening.
1 second, we just have to
Okay, sure.
officially open the public hearing.
To the inhabitants of the town of Reading, please take notice.
Move to,
Dispense with the reading.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Seconded by Chris. All those in favor? 5-0.
Okay, good evening.
Thank you, Chris.
So I will actually be deferring this presentation tonight to the Assistant Public Works Director, Mike Kessman. Mike has been very instrumental in getting this contract and the changes to it across the finish line, so I figured it'd be well suited for Mike to present that to you, and take it away, Mike. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you.
Hello, Michael Kessman, Assistant DPW Director. Here to make a presentation on the changes to Select Board Policy 4.6, Solid Waste Recycling, Collection and Disposal Rules. Next slide, please. So the purpose of these revisions is to align the Select Board policies with the new trash and recycling contract, which takes effect on July 6th of this year. Next slide. I would also like to take an opportunity to talk about the contract a little bit, highlight what's staying the same and what's changing. So we have some points here to discuss. The collection days are staying the same, so there's going to be no change to the day your trash is collected. The routes themselves are staying the same in terms of the layout of the route, but you might see a change to the time that your collection occurs. Considering that, I would like to mention that everybody should have their carts curbside by 6:30 a.m. on the day of collection. If the cart is not out At the time that the street is serviced, the location will not be collected until the following week. So it is very important that everybody have their carts out by the time the trucks come down the street. Weekly trash collection is staying the same. Weekly recycling collection will remain for now, but in the future, if the select board decides to, you have the option to vote to change to bi-weekly. Curbside leaf collection in the fall and the spring. This contract includes 6 weeks total of leaf collection, 2 in the spring and 4 in the fall. And the 4th week in the fall is a change up from 3 times under the current contract. There will be no change to curbside Christmas tree collection, which will occur for 1 week every January. We are going to continue to have 2 hazardous household waste events a year, one at the Reading DPW and one hosted in Wakefield. And we are also going to continue to have 2 recycling events at the DPW facility. Next slide, please. So some things are changing here. Beginning July 6th, residents must utilize their town-issued carts or they will not receive service. We have options for second carts and overflow bags. Overflow bags are now available for purchase at Market Basket and at the DPW Town Hall office. We also expect bags to soon be available at other local vendors, including Stop and Shop, Walgreens, and CVS. The bags are sold in rolls of 5 for $15 a roll. They are not available to purchase as individual bags, only by the roll. I would also like to take a moment to mention that the use of overflow bags is not going to be allowed in conjunction with the use of a second cart. And our intent, the intent here is to help reduce the overall volume of waste that is being generated and disposed of in the town. Second, trash carts are available through the online OpenGov portal. This contract includes a change to automated equipment. Republic has been transitioning to using the automated equipment. That transition is almost complete. So that's been going on. A big change here comes to the bulk disposal costs and scheduling. Beginning July 6th, residents must call Republic to pay for and schedule the bulk collection. This does include scrap metal collection. There will no longer be a dedicated week of curbside scrap metal collection as we have had in the past. And the new fee schedule is posted on the website. One important thing to mention here is there is going to be a change for some residents in terms of cart placement on dead-end streets and one-way streets. This is important to mention here. It's going to affect one-ways and back-down dead-end streets. So what we're calling a back-down dead-end street is a street that has no turnaround, where the truck must back down and then pull out in one direction. On these streets, all of the carts must be placed on the same side of the road, that side aligning with the side of the truck that has the automated arm. We sent out letters 2 weeks ago notifying every impacted household in town that this change would be occurring. So everybody's notified of that change as far as we know. We now have a cardboard-only dumpster at the DPW facility. It is available for residents during staffed hours and also beginning on Saturday, July 11th. And all Saturdays going forward, the recycling center at the DPW facility will be open to the public from 9 a.m. to noon. And this includes cardboard, styrofoam, and electronics recycling. And we also are going to be hosting 2 bulk drop-off events at the DPW facility. The details are still being worked out, but these events will take place at no additional fee to the residents. And lastly, you're going to see Republic utilizing rejection stickers at times. As they fully transition to the new contract, they will be using the rejection stickers to notify residents who are not following proper put-out procedures. In these cases, Republic will not be returning to collect these tagged carts until the following collection week. So it's very important that we all put our carts out correctly and work with Republic to understand what we need to do. Next slide, please. So in your packet, you have a red-lined version of the document showing the changes to the policy, as well as a clean proposed final version. And the chart below summarizes the changes section by section. And I would also like to mention that Town Council has reviewed these changes, and we incorporated their comments into the policy. So you have section 4.6.1, purpose, that includes general grammatical changes, the addition of food composting, mattress and box spring disposal, and textile recycling to the program. The next section, definitions, includes revised policy definitions of the various categories to align with the current contract and industry standards. Section 4.6.3, collection schedule, has a mention of the DPW director's authority related to schedule. It mentions the utilization of town-issued carts and the revision of the holiday schedule to include Juneteenth. Section 4.6.4, approved household rubbish and recycling containers, has been changed to align with the mandatory use of the new town-issued carts. There is now a section on additional carts that has all the details of how to obtain a second trash cart and recycling cart. The next section is bulk waste collection. This section has been revised to align with the bulk waste collection under the new contracts. The next two sections have grammatical changes only, TVs and CRTs and electronics. The hazardous waste section includes grammatical changes and a revision to the list of items that will be accepted. Section 4.6.10, recycling, mentions the mandatory use of town-issued carts and the addition of the cardboard-only dumpster at the DPW facility. The yard waste section includes grammatical changes. And the next three sections, mattresses and box springs, textiles and food composting, they're not part of the Republic contract, but we have arrangements with outside vendors to handle disposal of mattresses, textile recycling, and food composting, so these sections have been included with those protocols. And the last section, enforcement and severability, has some grammatical changes as well as revisions to rejection criteria for the carts. So that is a summary of the changes. And again, you guys have the red line version and the final version in your packet. And if you have any questions, Chris and I are here to answer them.
Karen. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the negotiating you did for this. It was a big haul. One-way streets that are kind of narrow, snowbanks, is this something we can revisit once we have like our first storm to see how, because as it is now, some of them will be putting them in the middle of not the middle of the street, but if the snowbank is huge, we can revisit this?
Yeah, some of the most narrow streets like Lafayette, for instance, streets that are just very narrow as it is, we're gonna have to pay some special extra attention to streets like that while we're doing our snow clearing and snow removal activities. If necessary, the DPW will be prepared to go widen some streets to make room for the carts. We're understanding that carts are probably gonna wind up in the street. We're not expecting folks to go shovel out a place across the street to put their carts. So we're just gonna kind of have to
Wait for the first storm.
and see how it goes and deal with it as it comes.
It's never going to snow again, ever.
Wow.
And my other question is, I have two more questions. The rejection stickers,
Yep.
is it going to tell the people why it was rejected?
Yeah, there's about 12 different items on the sticker.
Okay.
And the intent here is that the card is not going to be rejected the first time. They will take the card. You'll be notified as to why
Okay.
it's considered
Okay.
to not be in compliance. And then if it happens again,
But they'll tell them why it's not in compliance? Because
yeah.
sometimes I used to see a sticker with the red buckets and you had no idea why they were being rejected.
Yeah, the sticker will
Say why?
say why.
Okay.
And then I expect we'll get phone calls. We'll be in communication with the area supervisor. We'll dig a little deeper if necessary and find out what the issue is and communicate that back to the
Okay.
residents. And
And
Work with everybody.
is there a charge for disposing of mattresses?
there is a charge. Yeah, there's two different fees: one to drop off at the DPW and
Okay.
one to have it picked
Picked
up.
up on your curb?
I'm not sure exactly what the fee is. I apologize.
Say it.
Say 66 for.
So is there going to be a list available for us to see either online that just lists every single thing we could possibly want to get rid of and how much it will cost?
Yeah, all of this information is available on the DPW website, and one of the next big items on our agenda is to revamp the website and
Okay.
to streamline the information and
All right, awesome.
present it
Thanks
all
so
more
much.
clearly. Yep.
Fantastic, thank you. Chris?
Thanks, Melissa. So how many dead-end streets are we dealing with? roughly?
I don't-
20, 100, like ballpark? How many angry people are going to be in the winter?
I know how many letters we sent out.
How many letters?
We sent out 500 letters total to both sides of the street. So there were about 250 impacted households on both dead-end streets and one-way streets.
Okay.
And I received a very small amount of phone calls compared to how many I planned on receiving.
Okay. And then the bulk events, I know you don't have any scheduled and it's TBD, but I think the majority is going to be with people wanting to get rid of their existing barrels or something like that. That won't be utilized anymore. So I would think that we'd want to have something relatively soon, like August-ish.
Now, the actual barrels, they can be disposed of at the fall recycling event that we'll be having, which is October, I believe the first week in October.
I think that a lot of people aren't going to want to hold on to things until then, you know what I mean? It's just going to be taking up space, the old barrels. That's just my opinion.
We can discuss it, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's TBD, but I think a majority of people are going to want to get rid of them sooner rather than later. So. And then the last question is, when did the second barrel with no overflow bag scenario happen? Is that in the contract, or did you come up with that yourself?
No, that is in the contract.
Okay.
That it's one or the other. So if somebody has a second, utilizing a second cart that week, they cannot use an overflow bag. You know, as it is, if someone has a second cart, it's actually 128 gallons, which is more than they're currently allotted now in the current contract. They're allowed 120 gallons in the current contract right now.
Okay. So as long as it's in the contract, because I know during trash discussions, that did not get brought up, but it's not the hill I'm going to die on in terms of if it's in their contract and you didn't make the decision, then it is what it is at this point. And then, what was the other thing that I had? I should have wrote it down. Oh, just a PSA for the public that we negotiated with with Republic, who was here back in the fall, to negotiate down the bulk collection rates that we have. That, you know, we didn't negotiate all of them down, but some of them did come down from their number that they had. But there was no scenario that we were ever going to end up continuing the free bulk pickup that we've always had. There was no part of any of the proposals, equations. It was going away. It was great while we had it, but it is what it is. And, you know, we're all in this together. I'm going to have bulk stuff that I'm going to have to pay for in the future, but we negotiated down a couple items, but not everything, and unfortunately is what it is. But that's why that recycling is also continuing, and it might go bi-weekly as well, and that might be part of the override discussion going forward. But that's why we have the bigger recycling carts, just to, if we have to go that route, that might be a manageable scenario that we can do. But we tried everything, and it's just the way that the trash is going. We were in a very favoritive contract that ran out, and other communities are in the same boat. So, thank you.
Karen.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you have a bulk event scheduled for the fall. I'm wondering if we could have a metal dumpster for collection, if it's just an occasional thing. I mean, that's very recyclable. I mean, maybe we get paid for it, maybe they take it for free. It's gonna get dumped in the trash and hidden, and it's, right now in town, we hire this great guy, Tony, I think, and he comes and does it for $10. Like, can we just like rent a dumpster for that one event? It would probably cost the same.
Do you mean having a scrap metal dumpster at the recycling events at the DPW?
Yeah.
Permanently or just on the days?
Well, I mean, I understand things cost money, obviously, so you're making a special effort for this one day event. I think even this one day event would be great. And everybody says, yep, I will keep my metal together and I'll bring it that day, and we do that annually, and that could take the curse off it.
Sure, we can look into that.
Thank you. And also, I mean, because we're paying by weight, so when you're like, oh, I could call Tony for $10 or you just toss it in the trash, we're all paying for that, so it might work out to our favor in the end.
I think we could have room to house a scrap metal dumpster during the events.
Great. And then the other thing, so I've been a Black Earth composting subscriber for a while, which reduces the weight, and I don't have a large family in my home, but you know, for some families could make the difference between 1 cart and 2, I think. And are there any more carrots and sticks we could do to encourage adoption?
I forgot to mention that we are going to be hosting a community compost bin at the DPW that will also be available during regular staffed hours and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon for folks who aren't able to come down during the week.
Awesome.
So we're going to have that community food scrap bin. Yep,
That's great.
later this summer.
That's great. And on a teeny bit of a tangent, are the schools like gonna be doing the composting this fall? They get their act together and we're all set? Yay!
Yes, we are currently talking to Catherine Franzetti at the schools about implementing a program like that.
Okay, this is all good. Okay, thank you. So,
Is there going to be any outreach to residents to say what's recycling, what's not recycling? Because I feel like there's a lot of confusion in households that, you know, even in my own household, what you could put in the recycling, what you can't put in the recycling.
I'm sorry, can you repeat
They
that
did
question,
mail it.
Sal? I
Okay,
couldn't quite
okay.
hear you. Could you repeat that for me?
Oh, sure. There's going to be outreach to the community just to say what's recycling, what's not recycling.
Yeah, there's plenty of
I haven't seen
information
that.
on the website.
Okay.
And we sent out a mailer to every household in town that has some information on all the special events and some more information on what's acceptable and not. Chris has reached out to the senior center several times, done some presentations over there to educate folks. If we can think of anything else to do so.
I heard you mention styrofoam too. So styrofoam would be at the DPW?
Yeah, styrofoam regularly is not intended to be recycled in your bin,
Okay.
but we do take it at the DPW facility.
All right.
Only white styrofoam.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, Karen?
Republic did do a mailing. I got a mailing that listed a whole bunch of information,
Oh,
kind
great.
of giving us a heads up. But it looks like junk mail, so be on the look for it, but it
Yeah,
had a lot of
probably
good
right.
information. So
Great,
they're
thanks.
trying.
Yeah, thanks.
Chris?
On that note as well, perhaps a 2-minute video just showcasing what can be recycled and what can't. Because I had some weird foam stuff that I put in there that I thought was good, that they left in my blue bin thing that I had. So apparently it's not, and it's supposed to go in the trash.
Well, like white styrofoam as opposed to black styrofoam, like I don't.
I'm sure you have a couple, you know, you don't have to get every single item available, but whatever the DPW has and what you can scrounge up from people, 2-minute, quick PSA, whatever.
I believe
You
there
know?
is a video on the DPW website specifically about how to recycle already. I just saw it when I went on there.
Oh, great.
Pictures of the items themselves.
I didn't watch the video just now.
I'm just
I
trying
like
to- just trying
pictures,
to reduce
Jane.
weight.
So something,
like a
that's it.
picture. yeah.
because it's easy to say plastic or white styrofoam.
Well, what is,
or-
no, I understand,
know?
like polystyrene, what even is that? So, yeah. I
But
get it.
actual pictures of the actual items and not AI generated,
We're always arguing in my house about what goes into the recycling and what doesn't. So
because, you know, like I said, I was wrong and put the wrong stuff in my recycle. So I'd like to avoid that in the future.
Well, I think this is good fodder for a little good fun, and we can have a little bit of fun with this. And we do love questions, you know, into the podcast or into our FAQs and so forth. So if you have questions, send them in. And then for people who are having a missed pickup or a question, they can still go to See Click Fix, correct?
Absolutely. See Click Fix will still be available for residents to report any issue, trash-related issue, a missed pickup, issues with carts, anything like that. They could always pick up the phone and call the DPW garage or the DPW office here at Town Hall.
And they can call Republic too directly.
And they can call Republic directly. Yeah, they have a customer service center, the 1-800 line. And in certain cases, we've had Republic staff reach directly out to residents too, where a little bit of special assistance was needed. I would like to say that I think Republic has been doing a really great job trying to step up. You know, they've really proved to us that they want to stay here. You know, I mean, they're here, but they've been working really hard to transition. We've been working really closely with them, and I'm feeling really good about moving forward with them.
And who picks up the other trash around town in the various black community-ish, like out on Haven, there's a bunch of all the trash bins. How does that get handled? Because obviously there's no arm.
Yeah, the Main Street barrels,
Yeah.
Main Street, Haven Street down by the depot, all of those are included in Republic's hauling contract. So those, in those cases, they have to actually get out and manually handle the barrels. We have increased the frequency that those barrels are supposed to be collected, particularly in peak season. We've had some communication with them very recently. There's been some issues with doggy bags winding up in between the insert and the cage. And Republic staff has actually been going in and removing that dog waste. So if folks could try to get your dog bags into the barrel itself, inside of the decorative enclosure, that would be helpful. In terms of the parks and all of those barrels, the DPW staff handles those. But the downtown barrels are part of the contract.
Yeah, because I have seen some of the ones on Haven overflowing for multiple days, and I'm like, I don't know what they're doing over here, but.
Yeah, there's certain locations that I guess we could say are problem locations that we are pinging them on pretty regularly, and I'm expecting to see the quality improve in the downtown with those decorative barrels.
Thanks.
Great. I have a question/comment. I was speaking with other residents recently, and I'm wondering, is there any adjustment they can make to the arms? Because the barrels, in particular the recycling, are not emptying completely. And I thought it was just me. We have a lot of people and a lot of stuff, but then talking to other people, it is a consistent problem that they're not fully emptying. It doesn't seem to be that big of an issue with like a trash bag. It's like the stuff that's loose in like a recycling, it's just sitting on the bottom.
Yeah, we can definitely talk to them about that. I think they have the ability to kind of like shake the arm or maybe tip it twice or something like
Yeah,
that.
it just doesn't seem to be fully emptying always, and there's always consistently stuff left on the bottom.
We will definitely talk to them about that.
Awesome. Any other board members? I'll open to the public. Anyone in the room have any input? Maddie, anyone online? Nobody online. All right, I think we can close the hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Move to close the public hearing regarding the amendment to section 4.6 of the select board policies.
Second.
Seconded by Sal. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. And if we don't have any further discussion, do we have a motion on the amendment?
Move to amend section 4.6 as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Chris. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you very much for the presentation tonight. We
Thank you.
appreciate all the information.
Thanks.
We are going to move on 8:10. So we are going to start with, well, let's start with the CPDC. If everyone's okay with that, we'll discuss and vote on the Community Planning and Development Commission. I think that was one of the ones out of VAST that there wasn't a consensus on. So if we want to start with that, and then we can go through the other ones, if that works for everyone.
I think that was the only one, right?
Yes, I think so, as far as I know. Do you guys have any input?
As you can see, there was a discrepancy on who we wanted to be the full member, and there was also a discrepancy on who we wanted for associate member.
Okay.
Do you want us to just go over our reasons, or?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Do you want to go first, Sal? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I just basically looked at the qualifications. I know Tom's obviously been on the board a long time. I feel like, he's been voting a lot too. I almost feel like, it's almost interchangeable in my opinion. But obviously Robert is he builds homes, and Jerry is in the construction business and engineering. I just thought they had a little more experience. That was it, basically. Some new blood in there. That's all.
Okay. Karen, did you want to give, or why don't we let Karen go first?
Oh, yeah.
So she can give
So I wanted to move Thomas from associate to full for several reasons. One, out of respect that he's been an associate member for several years and has had a great record. He's gone to all the meetings. He's been pulled up probably 70% of the time to be a full member. And I think attendance is very important. And in this particular group, I think that there's not a problem with attendance, but I think that there's some conflicts that make the board not full. And so that's why he gets pulled up as much as he does, which is great because it's given him a lot of experience on the board. As far as experience goes, his prior experience being on the Planning Commission in Connecticut is kind of a no-brainer for me because I think that's a very important part of the CPDC as far as his prior experience. And I think him being on the board for the last 3 years, he has a lot of historic or intrinsic knowledge that's been going on. And since there's a lot of things in front of them right now, I would like to see it continue with the same person that's been there the entire time as opposed to moving to some new, I agree, new blood is always welcome, but I think that he deserves to be moved up to the member position. I also think, out of respect for all the time that he's put in, that it would be disrespectful for his time to move someone ahead of him to the member position that has not served on the board yet. So that's another reason. And that was that.
Okay, thank you guys so much for that. Anyone else have any?
Karen, I just had a question. So the new member, is that Mr. McSheffrey?
I think they're both Benatti and McSheffrey
They're
are
both
both
new,
new.
yeah.
They're both new.
Oh, Thomas is the one who's the.
Thomas
Yeah,
is the
he's-
returning.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, because I haven't seen their applications, are they building in Reading or are they bringing, they builders, but there's, what I want to avoid is conflicts of interest.
Yeah, I think Thomas was mostly built in Burlington. That
So
was-
Robert McSheffrey does,
Robert.
he's been a Reading resident for 26 years and he does home builds. He has done them in Reading. Jerry Benatti, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. He's had 20 years of experience in construction industry, including being an operating engineer in the union. He used site work, civil engineering, and construction operations. He also owns and operates his own construction and property management company. So his experience seems to be a lot broader on a larger scale as opposed to just developing homes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to ask Mr. McSheffrey how much of his business, he may not want to have conflicts either. If you have a client, you can't weigh in. If you're an associate member, it's much easier for you to like participate in the discussion, but you're not voting, so it seems like it's a lower threshold. I don't know if he does. I know they're quick interviews, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we really asked him
I just wrote Bill's Homes, but I remember him saying that he has done some in Reading, but I don't think that they're all in Reading. So I think
I thought he said mostly in Burlington, if I remember
it could
correctly.
be, but not all here. So
Yeah.
it's kind of all over the place. But I'm not, because it's homes, it's
Yeah.
not the same as having an
Yeah.
apartment building or a multi-use. He doesn't do that kind of construction.
Mr. Inanati is just more, not necessarily residential homes, just more general construction experience.
Was it
As part of a
engineering?
larger firm or something, is that what you said?
So he owned his own construction, he's an operational engineer and what, or something.
He had more of an engineer background.
Yeah, and civil engineer.
Did both Mr. Benatti and Mr. McSheffrey ask to be full members?
Yes.
Yes.
They both did, okay.
I would like to say that I having served on other boards and committees, I agree with Karen that as long as the member's willing to be the full member, we should credit time served and really put them ahead. And the other two, it's a challenge of having lots of well-qualified applicants. It's not that easy.
We had a lot of applicants want to be on CPDC.
think we did a
So
pretty
we
good
kind of
job.
narrowed it down.
Yeah, whittling them down.
And
Oh,
we
we did.
were able to place them in other boards.
Got it, okay.
So it's a very popular group.
Got
Actually,
it, all right.
I apologize for
I'll
going.
give kudos to Karen, she really placed them pretty well.
Got it,
Yeah,
okay.
Were there
steered
any,
people the right way.
Options to put whoever, we don't have a spot for everybody here, right?
We do.
Oh, you do?
Well,
do.
the people here,
The
I
people
think there
that are
were more
remaining.
beyond that. Yeah, the people here, we have a spot for everyone. I think there were, yeah, there we go. There was, yeah.
Right.
But they all in other places.
We put them in other places.
Okay, other committees.
Okay,
That's what I
and
was
so
wondering.
these two
Sometimes,
individuals just asked to be on
ZBA
CPDC.
desperately needs help, and that's not that different, especially for like a residential home builder, could be really good at ZBA.
Yeah.
I don't think it was any more ZBA.
No.
So we had two
Filled that,
openings. We
yeah.
had two, one opening and
Well,
one.
the other option is that, desperately thank you for raising their hands, because you never know when people have to
Right.
resign, and we want to have a short list to go to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate your hard work on this.
Any input, Chris?
Thanks, Melissa, and thanks, Karen and Sal. I think that just seeing the, experience and everything, I mean, I could go either way on this, you know what I mean? I don't want to say that boards and committees sometimes need shakeups all the time kind of thing, but sometimes, they kind of do. But I don't know any of the people that are applying here or anything like that, other than Heather, obviously, getting reappointed as a member. I know she's been there forever and as chair and all that. So it's good that she's staying. But I mean, I could go either way, but I'm fine with how Sal spelled it out.
Sounds good. I have a silly question that I'm not, oh, go ahead, Karen.
You go ahead, then I'll.
So my only question is do we know what the makeup of the current CPDC is? Like, I can think of some members. I know we have an engineer. I know we have, do we have a residential home builder on that board already? Or committee?
So right now, there's,
We have
one
commercial.
issue is that someone's stepping down and
Yep.
she's an architect. And so I think that what is kind of going to be missing is the legal part of it.
Yeah.
And that where Thomas pops in is he has that experience.
Okay.
So I think that.
He was an architect or an engineer?
No, but he is familiar with,
How they make decisions.
so he served as the chair and the member of the Avon, Connecticut Planning and Zoning Commission and vice chair and member of the Pollution Control Board. He worked on the completion of Avon's 10-year master plan. So he-
Avon, Mass or Avon, Connecticut?
Avon, Connecticut,
Okay.
which, that's a pretty important town in Connecticut, honestly.
No, I'm not saying it isn't, and just, they could be different laws, though. It's Connecticut versus
But he has
Massachusetts.
experience doing a master plan. So if we're expecting them to do a master plan in
Fair.
the next couple of years, and I think that there's some concern that the conflicts are causing, I don't want to say an attendance problem, but if one of the members has a lot of conflicts, then that will cause an associate member to be pulled up. And so you run the risk of whoever's in construction, which could potentially be the two that I have as associates, that could continue to cause a problem if you've got two potential that will have conflicts more often than not, then you're really running short-staffed on the CPDC.
Yeah, but my understanding is we're hoping to fix the attendance problem by replacing who we have. I know there was an attendance problem, but I think we're fixing that with this.
The person with the attendance problem is not stepping down.
Yes, they have. That's why we have three full members. And one's only partial. See the
don't have-
bottom? The
One
partial
person resigned.
expiring June 30th, 2028.
I think one person resigned. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that the one?
That's the partial one. That's on the bottom, June 30th, 2028, partial term. Yeah, so that was the attendance issue. I just want CPDC to be well-rounded. That's all in my mind I'm trying to think. So I'd like to see someone from each of, construction, both residential and commercial.
So Gaetano Manganiello, isn't he in construction?
He is, but I think he's commercial.
But I don't understand how a residential person would have higher qualifications than someone that's been on a planning board already.
Yeah, they really don't.
I'm not necessarily saying that they do have higher qualifications. I'm just looking for a well-rounded board that has
Okay.
opinions from various people. I'm not saying that they are not qualified
Okay.
in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying to be well-rounded is helpful, that's all.
Okay.
with that being said, I don't want to lose Thomas.
What?
In any, like, I don't, I want to, we appreciate all his hard work, his attendance, and him being there, so that's why I was just trying to think of what the other members cover between Mr. Benatti and Mr. McSheffrey that are current members. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's all.
And I'm sorry, did you say like, so I see one permit pulled for 37 Winslow Road for Mr. McSheffrey, and did you say there are, I guess I'm leaning to more of the planning experience because this is such a unique discipline and making sure Heather has the backup that she needs on this committee.
Yeah, but is that his own home?
I don't know. It
Yeah,
says
that's where he
building
lives.
permit, Steve
Yeah, that's where,
Frederickson.
that's his address.
Okay,
That's his
so
So
address.
that's his personal address, so.
Yeah, I don't think this is a full list anyway, but I was just saying, I could see, yeah. So, did you say he signed up for more than one committee?
No.
No, the people that, this group has not signed up for more than one committee. Anyone that had signed up for more than one committee, we were able to place them someplace else. So that we didn't lose the volunteer.
Chris,
Did Heather weigh in at all or no?
your
She,
microphone's off.
she did send us some emails, strongly encouraging Thomas Armstrong to be moved up.
Okay.
But nothing regarding any of the other two in any form or fashion?
No, she only provided input on, and she, I can't remember if she was going to try and attend the interviews. I can't remember if she did now that because we interviewed her, but I can't remember if she attended or not. But she wanted to try, but she had a conflict with one
Yeah.
of them. But she did not weigh in on the others, but she spoke very strongly in support of Thomas.
Okay. Can I ask one more question before we vote? Is it, if, so the new people, Robert McSheffrey and Jerry Benatti, was there any consideration of putting Jerry into the associate spot? Or no?
We didn't discuss that.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what.
Well, Karen, what was your suggestion? The,
My opinion was I felt that his experience being part of a union and part of his position as an engineer would bring a different, and I understand your comment about someone being a home builder and someone being in construction. I thought that his experience as an engineer would be more important than someone that just, I don't mean just, I'm not belittling building houses. It is an incredibly difficult thing, but I thought that it would bring a different skill level.
And really, we're not talking about, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, we're not talking about, they're all gonna be on the committee, they're all gonna weigh in.
Yeah.
Like, having served as an associate, you do everything but raise your hand. And if you're a busy
Right.
professional, then guess what, I can't make it that night, the pressure's off, but you're still weighing in, like, so, it's not,
that's what I kind of feel the same way, like.
yeah.
Well, in the Board of Health, the associates, they, were in the conversation. To me, it's 50-50, because everybody will be talking in the meetings.
Yeah,
And if
exactly.
Thomas is there all the time, I see it as a win, give the new guys a little experience, but that's what I voted, so I'm not trying to sway anybody, but.
I do feel, can I say?
yeah, absolutely.
I feel that the associate positions are really good, what's the word?
Initiation.
Well, it gets you used to the whole process. And so I think because he's been doing it for several years, he can just go and run with it. And he has been. And I think we really want to encourage people of all skills to volunteer. And I would not want to have people be discouraged to volunteer, so that if they put in the time as an associate and they really wanted to be a member and they do all this work to be an associate and attend, and then have us not support all the work that they've done, I don't want that to be something that may eliminate volunteers in the future.
Totally agree with you. 100% agree with you. So I don't know what our motions look like. I'm wondering if anyone would entertain a amendment and to make Thomas and Robert Mersheffrey full and put Jerry Benatti as a associate. For me, it's like I already had said before, I'd like to see a well-rounded committee. I love that we have two new names that we've never seen, or I've never seen before, so I love that we have volunteers stepping up. But I also completely understand why the right thing to do is to put Thomas as a full member, just because he has been dedicated to this board for several years now, if not more. Does anyone have any input on that?
I'm okay with it.
Sal, you sat in those meetings, so.
Was that your original one? I forget now.
I can't
not
speak
to
to
put
what
you on
my
the
original
spot.
thought was because it was a long time, I don't want to say it was a
Okay.
long time ago,
I don't know
but
if
it
you
was a
remembered.
lot of meetings.
Yeah. It doesn't say it up there.
I think.
Oh, so you had Robert as an associate, not Jerry as an associate, right? That's what it says there.
Yeah,
Karen Rose Gillis.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, Robert. You had Robert as an associate. You suggested.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And I suggested Thomas.
Yes.
Okay. I would entertain that motion.
say that one more
I'd
time.
entertain that motion. Yeah, sure.
Okay, would you be amenable to, Karen, you want?
So we lost a member of the Council on Aging, unfortunately. So sometimes they do kind of take it personally, and then we lost a really good volunteer. So maybe whoever we vote, would you guys, one of you be willing to reach out to the associate member and just explain how hard this was for us and how valued they are, just so that
Sure.
literally the person, very highly skilled, very important person. He would have been great whether he was associate or full, but he only got an associate and felt like the committee and we were not respecting his skills and just didn't even take the position. That wasn't a good thing.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't want that to happen either, especially because these are new residents stepping up to volunteer, so we don't want that to happen either. If that works for everyone, I don't know.
She's saying Jerry as an associate.
Yes, that's what, but you guys were in the interview, so
Right.
I'm just suggesting that. I would
Okay,
take your
so-
feedback of what your thoughts are on that, obviously.
I think it's, I don't think there'll be any hurt feelings.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I think that Robert is just trying to do what's best for Reading.
Okay.
And I don't think that there'll be any hurt feelings. I apologize if I'm misspeaking, but I got the impression that most, if not every volunteer just wants to help.
Okay.
And so sometimes they're just trying to find where they fit. And I think that hopefully they'll fit. And
So-
if not, then
Okay. That'd be going against what you said. So just so you know. Like
at some
Jerry-
point, we're
yeah,
going to go
it
against
does-
what I
right,
said.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I'm,
It's going against both.
I'm not going to go home and
Both,
cry.
both of us said. So.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not trying to step on toes
Yeah.
because you guys
Yeah.
put all those days in.
Which
you're
is fine.
the one
I
that
think
interviewed them, so.
I'm passionate about Thomas being moved up, and I think the other two will be wonderful wherever they're placed. And I think that it will give them the opportunity to step up to full if the opportunity presents itself. So, provided it's a good fit.
Yes.
Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, I think I would want to keep it as Jerry being full, and then if you want, we can move Tom up, because I do understand the reasoning that you've given. Like I said, could go either direction, but I think I'd still like to see Jerry as full.
What? We can keep it how it is then.
All right, so you want to make a
Where are we?
motion? Why don't you make your motion officially? We'll second it, we'll vote on it, see if we get 3 or more.
So we have to,
I guess do one person at
Or
a time.
actually, okay, so, all right, this is the easy one, I think. Move to appoint Thomas Armstrong as full member of the Community Planning and Development Commission, term beginning July 1, 2026, and expiring June 30th, 2029.
Second.
seconded by
What?
Karen Rose Gillis.
Was it, oh wait, that's associate was 27, okay.
So we're moving him up. Just one
Okay.
person moving up.
It's
right now.
different than what was written here, but yes.
So, seconded by Karen Rose Gillis. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor? 5-0. Second,
All
No,
right,
we
move
just-
to appoint Robert McSheffrey as a full member of the Community Planning and Development Commission term, beginning immediately and expiring June 30th, 2028, partial term.
Second.
Seconded by Sal. All those in favor in moving Mr. McSheffrey to a full position? 3. All those opposed? 2. So that moves forward.
Move to appoint Jerry Benanati, as an associate member of the Community Planning and Development Commission, term beginning immediately and expiring June 30th, 2027. Partial term.
Okay. Second, do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sal. All those in favor? 5-0. We have to do Heather too, Karen,
Yeah.
at the
Move
beginning.
to appoint Heather Cush as a full member of the Community Planning and Development Commission, term beginning July 1st, 2026, and expiring June 30th, 2029.
Second.
Seconded by Karen Rose Gillis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Okay. Now we can move on to the full list, which I believe Karen and Sal agreed on all of the other boards and committee volunteers, but if anyone has any input.
I
Karen.
do, just appreciate all the hard work, and I see there's still lots of openings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I appreciate you going through all that. I do want to talk about the select board designee to the Burbank ice arena. So maybe change is good. We have 2 new liaisons. We have new challenges for our relationship. We have new amendments to the contract. And I sent you guys a document which we can put in the packet. I feel like board relations and cooperation have not been great with our current appointee, who I have appointed twice in the past, and I appreciate all of the work he's done. And I actually have no doubt that if we don't appoint him tonight, somebody else will potentially step down the board and he'll just be back on the board anyway. He's very involved. But our options, and I understand that we only had 1 applicant, and that can happen. He's been serving since 2010. If you call him to town hall, you're like, is there really room in the Burbank Ice Arena? You might not get the impression there's really room. Our options could be, just reappoint him again. Our options could be appoint him for a partial term. Another option could be we re-advertise and we really emphasize to people that we are looking for a new voice on that board that hasn't changed very much. The board, why might some people not be advertising or applying? Because they might think there's no, that's his position for life, which it isn't. And, or they might think, okay, the members of that board, they're mostly men, they're mostly white, apologies. They might think that doesn't look like me, I'm not gonna feel comfortable. I also think that board is mostly full of hockey folks. There's probably a lot of hockey talk. I'm concerned that there's only one board member who represents skating. She doesn't even live in town. Okay, so there's nobody representing the skating club. So maybe an applicant could come in and be a current active participant in the North Shore Skating Club, which provides 50% of the income, or a member of the public, because there are lots of members of the public that are really interested in public skating. I've talked to a number of them over the years. I think we could get some fresh ideas. So I am not really, given some of the public comments, and I put this in the notes that I forwarded to you because I think it all happened, Sal, before you were even elected, so you wouldn't even have been aware of it, and I'm sure you didn't talk about it in the interview, but coming to a select board meeting and calling out select board members for asking questions on behalf of residents isn't cool for any designee, and I can't think of another example that's ever happened. And I don't think it's a good precedent. It's not a good look for our board. It really isn't a good look. So you know, we have 2 new liaisons, and I put lots of my concerns in there, and I can do this in a public forum to say, here are the things that have concerned me. I've been a liaison for a number of years. So now you know some of the things that have concerned me. So if you get invited to another meeting, I was never invited to a meeting. You can ask them about those kind of things, and we can start fresh. And but it would be great if we could also, you know, have a select board designee who brings a fresh perspective and maybe brings more diversity to that board. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. So thank you.
I just have a quick comment. I think we want to be careful in saying that town hall's gonna make it sound like the board's full when a volunteer is up, and there's positions open. Also, we didn't get another volunteer, so I would support him to stay on as liaison. I think that there was a personality clash, to be quite honest, and it's my understanding that Chris went to a meeting already, so I'm hoping for a better set of communication. And, you know, I think this is something I would consider if it doesn't go well when the liaison is up the next time, then we could have that conversation. But I think for some time there was a personality clash that I'm hoping that we've moved past that and we can have better communications with the town, because I think both this board and their board realize that that is something that needs to happen. Chris.
Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, I think if we start going down this route, that we're going to just mention that, you know, Sally Hoyt's been on the Council on Aging forever. Thank you for your time. We're taking you off. Like, absolutely not. Or Brian Bowe's here. He's been on conservation forever and doing a great job. It's the same thing. Like, why would we just go ahead and do that when there's nobody taking their place, a mythical figure that doesn't currently exist? People apply to apply. There's various boards and committees that, you know, there are more popular ones than others, but it is what it is. It's hard to find volunteers. It's hard to find volunteers that actively give back to the town at various events and everything else that goes on. But yeah, I went to the last Burbank Ice Arena meeting. Everybody was fantastic there, like I mentioned. Ed Peduto was super active and engaged in everything. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary that doesn't happen here kind of scenario. I just, you know, I felt welcome when I was there. I didn't think that I was getting rushed out and I had to leave, I forget, for Killam or something else after the fact. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes we have personality conflicts and all that, and, you know, hopefully we can move past them. That's pretty much it. But I thank Carl McFadden for his volunteering, and I will be voting to reappoint him to the Burbank Ice Arena.
Any other input?
I think we have a lot of needs on a lot of different committees, and we have a new timeline for interviewing volunteers. So if someone else wants to volunteer for the next round, great. I don't think that this is a situation where we need to do a special round in recruiting. I think that has already taken place. I think with the 2 new board members as part of it, they're going to have an eye on what's going on. I think there's a lot more attention on the board now between the different lease negotiations and the parking and recount going over there. So I'm thinking pretty positively on a more communication between the town and them. And so I think I'm happy to have him do it again. And I thank all of them for their service. And if someone else wants to step up for whatever, you know, I'm hoping that people are not turned off to apply to things because they feel uncomfortable or they don't feel like it's their thing. I encourage everybody to volunteer for something, even if you don't think it's your thing. But we have a lot of other committees that could use some people as well. So I hope that the next time we do interviews, more people will step up.
Any further discussion? Karen?
Yeah, I want to be clear. this designee came to a select board meeting and made false statements and said, Ms. Herrick never even came to a meeting. I was never invited. I asked respectfully. Carlo was invited to one meeting. Chris was invited to one meeting. This isn't a personality conflict. This is something else. It's not okay. So there were other false statements that were made. I think I was kind of hoping that this board would have a little more concern for our representatives, our designees coming to the board and being hostile. And in one example, you know, the entire board was criticized, not me, but I've been called out, you know, singly, but the entire board was criticized. I mean, that's just not a good working relationship with the designee. So that's really the point of this. I can think of no other example. I can think of one example, certainly not Sally Hoyt doesn't come to public comment and attack the board, the very board that appoints her. And Brian comes and he's very diplomatic and asks questions and listens, and we all try to do our best. So those aren't really good examples. I can think of a select board member who was threatening to sue rec committee members, and it really did concern the rest of the board at that time, and that select board member decided to just step away from their liaison responsibility to cool things out. Well, I've done that. And I think it's great to get new people asking these important questions and holding this board accountable, because that's what I was doing. I don't think it's okay for a select board designee to come here and make false statements and target individual board members or the entire board. So I just want to make sure there's recognition that that's what happened.
Chris?
Thanks, Melissa. Resident Carl McFadden came and gave public comment. Not our liaison did not give public comment. He listen, if I'm reappointing people that have been in this batch of people, reappointing someone specifically who's been massively overcritical of me, and I am voting them on. I am not letting it get in between the way that we're supposed to do things. We're supposed to put our differences aside. It's not always like that, Karen. I understand. There's times where I haven't, and it's very difficult. It all is for all of us up here. But like sometimes there's not hills to die on, and this is not one of them. There's nobody else. I could understand if there was someone else you can make an argument, but not in this case. Like there's a lot of people that, you know, that don't like me, unfortunately, and it is what it is. And I reappoint them anyway, and I thank them for volunteering, and, you know, hopefully I can change their mind in the future. Probably not, but like, you know, like, we got to agree to disagree. So I just don't see it in this case.
Okay, all right, Chris, can
Karen?
I speak one more time?
Yep, I'd really rather not continue the back and forth and just go to a
No,
vote.
I don't want to continue the back and forth either.
Okay.
But it is clear in that statement that you can't just say I'm speaking as a member of the public and then go on to speak on board matters. That's a problem. You need to recognize that. I am really glad you went to one of their meetings. Well, what we need as a board is more than just Ed's a great guy. We need hard questions. I've been asking hard questions. I've been getting nowhere. You guys are up. You get to ask harder questions because now we have kids depending on them. So, thanks.
I'd like to move on to the motion to approve the VASC committee volunteer, if we have one. Actually, we may not have one because it was in the consent agenda, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, so last year and the year before I checked, actually, we just voted, all the ones that you guys agreed on, we just voted on as one whole. So if we could just, Karen, do you want to attempt a generic motion to approve those? I don't think we have a motion for all of them because it was in the consent agenda.
Understood. I just want to ask, are all of the, I think all of the positions that we're filling are in the packet, at least?
Yes.
Okay, well, so I'd like to separately vote on the Burbank liaison, but we could, let me pull the packet
We can
up.
do
What
that.
does it say?
So it'd be moved to vote on the appointments of the volunteer boards and committees without,
As presented in the
without the
packet
Burbank,
of 6/23/26,
yeah, without, and you
Exempting
can take,
the
yeah.
Reading Ice Arena Authority.
Yep.
So moved. Do you want to say so moved, Chris?
So moved.
Okay.
Get that? Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Wait,
Oh.
you didn't second it.
Oh, I apologize.
I'll second it.
I apologize. Sal, second. No further discussion. All those in favor? 5-0. And then a second motion. Karen, do you have a second motion for Reading Ice Arena?
Move to appoint Carl McFadden as the select board designee for the Reading Ice Arena Authority.
I think we need a date.
June 23rd.
No, June 30th,
Oh, June 30th, I'm sorry.
2029? Is that right, Maddie?
So it's beginning July 1, 2026, expiring June 30th, 2029.
Okay.
Move to appoint Carl McFadden as the select board designee for the Reading Ice Arena for a term beginning July 1st, 2026 and expiring June 30th, 2029.
Second.
Seconded by Chris. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 4. All those opposed? 1. Okay, let's move on to 8:20, discuss town building projects, including pickleball and High Street.
Thank you. So in your packet, you have some information on the pickleball project update, and you have some information on High Street. And then I'll take you through some information that we have recently on Killam regarding the bid, which is kind of the most recent great news update. So the Reading Pickleball Project continues on schedule. Completed work so far includes site clearing preparation that was done in March and April. The Musco light, it's the lighting infrastructure was put in and the electrical systems were installed. That was early on in the process because it's embedded. Fence post and pickleball net posts are installed. The Caltech stormwater drainage storage system is completed. That's part also of the recal site. So all of the stormwater from the street, from the gutters, from the site goes into this Caltech underground stormwater retention system, and then it slowly goes into the groundwater. So that's done. The post-tension concrete courts are poured, and they're currently curing. It's about a month-long process for them to cure. The perimeter fencing posts have been completed, and concrete curbing around the courts were completed last week. Next up for that contractor, that's Quirk. They did the Birch Meadow Phase 2 project that recently opened, just to give people some context. They are going to complete the remaining concrete work, including the shade pavilion area and the shade shelter footings. The footings were included in the project from the beginning, but Reading Pickleball Association is funding the shade structure separately. The rough grading of the front walkway area will be completed, and then adjacent areas will be prepared for paving operations. Landscape planting is also coming up. Essex Horticulture is a specialty contractor as part of the project, and they'll be tagging plant material in the coming weeks that will be planted on the site. And then the court surfacing is scheduled for late July. So it's the painting, the colors, the surface goes on top of the concrete once it's all finished, just like the basketball surface you've seen down at Birch Meadow. So it says here, depending on the status of adjacent construction activities, any approved change order work, the surfacing schedule may be adjusted to mid-August to ensure optimal installation conditions and protect finished court surfaces. So right now, it's on track to open in the fall. And so that's great news. Any questions on pickleball?
Yeah, the money. Can we talk about the money?
Okay.
The project budget.
You want the project budget? All right,
Yeah.
hold on.
What's expended?
Okay, I don't have what we have expended so far. We can pull it up in Munis, I suppose.
We were under budget on that as well?
We are, yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand Sharon had to go out to bid, and so,
Sharon had to go out to bid?
sorry, not out to bid. Sharon had to do the borrowing, Yeah.
Yes, we did a
Based on
first
estimates?
tranche of borrowing, that's correct.
Yeah.
For all of the projects. Is that what, are you looking for the finances for all of the borrowing?
So I understood that she might have done a separate borrowing for this project. And I just want to know whether we're gonna have to reapply capital that we have borrowed for to another project.
No,
How that
I know what you're
matches
saying.
up to this one.
You're talking about if we over borrow for projects, sort of like the library
But if
project.
you think it's gonna cost $1 million, you borrow $1 million, and then it only costs 800, you know, it happens sometimes.
So, no, I understand. So she did not borrow all of the money for all of the projects. She borrowed enough money in the first tranche to manage cash flows as we go forward. And then that way, when we get to the end of the project, we don't have leftover funds. So all of these projects were put into one tranche. A portion of it, I think it turned out to be $68 million.
Yeah, I wasn't sure this was wrapped in there.
I think it
Well,
was.
we'll see her on Thursday and clarify,
We will,
right?
sure, and I'm happy to get that for the board, and we'll send that separately. So then we'll ban, this has been, discussed previously, but we'll ban some of the borrowing as we go through, so that at the very end, when we're ready to close the projects, we'll only borrow the amount that we need at the end, and that way we won't over borrow. So, and have money that sits around for a while that we have to pay interest on. So it's a great question, it's an important question, so I thank you for asking that. But yeah, we are under budget on that one. All right, moving along. The High Street Downtown Improvements Phase 2, that's the High Street project. We have this week some utility excavation work that's going on Shute Street. And this work identified a water main that was looking not great. It's pretty old. I think, do you remember the age of it? It's old. And so there was a decision that was made to replace that water main under controlled shutdown so that there's dentist offices, salons down there. Having an accidental water main break is going to disrupt a lot of people. So the intention is replace that while we're already there doing the work. And then we don't disrupt businesses in the future. The staff are trying very hard to be considerate of businesses. This is a disruptive project. We understand that. The updates, so let's see. All updates to this project are on the town website. That is being managed by our engineering department, particularly Meg Anderson is writing those updates and working with staff to get the information out as there are like unexpected changes and to keep people informed. So phase 2 of the project includes the traffic signal installation at Woburn and High. Phase 3 is paving. That's anticipated July 15th to 17th right now. Again, weather permitting. Phase 4 is curbing and sidewalks. And then phase 5 is the raised intersection. And the intention is to, if they have to shut down sidewalks, the roads are open and, Brandy Court so people can get into the businesses. If the roads are closed, the sidewalks are open so people can still access. There will be a period with the sidewalk being done where businesses will have to keep their doors open that day because there'll be a bridge that goes from the street over the sidewalk to get into the building. And to get into that entryway, if the business wants to be open, they'll have to leave their door open. So engineering's been working on this, and they'll be talking about these implications with
Where is
businesses.
that going to happen?
This summer,
Oh,
soon.
okay. Not
Yeah.
November?
No,
I don't know if that's better or worse, though.
I know.
The fall might be better, but I know we
Well,
can't push it.
Right, because of air
It is what it
conditioning.
is.
Yeah, exactly. But that should only be just for the duration of the waiting, the sidewalks to cure.
Which would be how long?
I think it's like a day or it's one day. It's like when they want to be open, their opening hours that day.
48 hours tops, probably.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and weather permitting. The humid, it's going to take longer to cure. Chris, did you have something to add?
I just wanted to mention that little addendum from what is written here in the memo. The water main replacement is actually now going to happen tomorrow night.
Okay,
Because there is one business that actually is going to be open on Sunday. And so rather than disrupt that one business, we are now doing it overnight tomorrow night. So we've already talked to all the abutters and they are on board with it. So
great. Okay, Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for working around the businesses, because I know they're kind of,
Well, and that's changed since the packet was
Yeah.
issued. So these,
I appreciate
things are
that.
changing regularly on this project, so. We're trying to keep a pace of it and make sure that we're doing the best we can to let folks know. Okay, because it does impact folks. Moving on to recal progress updates.
oh, can I just ask one question?
Yeah, of course.
Phase 5, raised intersection.
Yes.
That's in front of the depot, like
That's
at
right.
the end. That's going to be paved?
It is a raised, I think it's stamped concrete.
Stamped concrete,
Stamped concrete, so it'll look like the cobblestone
Yeah,
areas.
but not cobblestones or bricks.
But not cobblestones or bricks. If you dig deep enough on Haven Street, you will find cobblestones under there.
Yeah, it's just not ideal for many reasons.
That's right.
In New England.
That's correct.
And for people in wheelchairs or, plowing and all that stuff. So that's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
so as a raised intersection, that whole area will be raised up, and there'll be, I believe there's a half wall that goes, that's included in the project, says welcome to Reading, facing the train depot, and on the other side. And so you go up, and it's sort of like an elongated speed bump, just you come up and then you go down.
Great,
So
okay.
it'll be a really great spot. Okay. You have in here Jenna Wood's presentation that she gave at the Lunch and Learn about recal. And if you go to the end, there are some current pictures of the construction.
Oh, great.
That's just why we put this in here. And it's just a good reminder of like what's going on at the site. But I'm going to share my screen on Zoom.
Oh, wow, we have a foundation.
We do.
Wow. that's-
Well, we have part of a foundation.
The lot.
We have part of a foundation.
I think the wall is like almost done.
Wow. Okay, those are not the pictures I want to use. Hold on one second.
That's great.
There we go. All right. Okay, let me share this.
Like pickleball has all the lights up and everything.
There, yeah, because they have to be embedded in the concrete, so they went up first. So this right here, this pink area, this whole wall is called the stem wall. And the pink is the insulation. And moving down here so I can, these are pictures that are posted daily from our contractor. The black that's underneath it, this is waterproofing. So this is all water, this whole section of wall will be underground. And the little areas up here, I don't know if you see my cursor on the screen, that are kind of sticking out like parapets, if you will. It's not a technical term. The slab will be even with that. So that's where the floor is.
Got it.
So they will pour the slab. But before they pour the slab, they have to, let's see, I made some notes. They have to put the steel in. And in order to get the steel in, they have to put a crane in where the gym will be. So they have built a ramp, which is not uploaded to the photos yet. They built the ramp today. And a crane will drive into it. They can't pour the slab because the crane would crush the slab. So they got to put the crane in there and then start steel erection. And then when the steel is done, they'll take the crane out and then they'll start wood framing. So just a couple of other pictures to take you through. It's part of the Cultec system. That's the drainage. I wanted to show you, hold on a second.
That's dirt.
That's dirt. I have too many screens open, so I can't move quickly here. There's a lot of dirt there. So this right here is, this is the grease trap that is going to be in the kitchen. The kitchen will be poured on top of the grease trap effectively, or around it. And then that will connect to another tank outside. So that's where the commercial kitchen will be. And then this here is plumbing and electrical fixtures at the back of the building. So here's the road behind it. You can see Range Road. So this is the corner that's really close to Range Road, and there are some restrooms over here. And the back, the kitchen is sort of nearby. So these orange and yellow, these are, my understanding is those are plumbing fixtures, and then That's some of that's rebar. And then you have electrical down here. Okay? I am not a construction expert, but I did talk to the project manager today. And those will also go under the slab as well. So the next big step, July 1st, begins steel erection, and then the elevator shaft will go in. So this is next week. And then once those are complete, then the slab can be poured. That will take about 3 weeks for steel and the slab and the elevator shaft, and then the framing will start at the end of July. And then about 2 months after that framing starts, the buildings, it'll look like a building.
Wow.
Yeah, so the framing's about 2 months.
They'll
So
be able to work all winter inside, pretty much.
that's, the idea to get the building envelope secure so they can work inside. So that is what's going on. We are going to do a time capsule to put underneath the front door. So for folks, if they have anything they'd like to go into the time capsule, just let us know. They'll build us the capsule. So we just need to get them, put the newspaper in there with the passing of the, whatever. We'll, anything people want, if they've got ideas, bring them to the town manager's office and we will get them in.
capsule?
Right.
It's not that big.
Not that big.
I mean, it's a time capsule. It's going to go in like a,
So you can't
Little
put a
bit of
mattress in there or anything?
you can't dispose of your mattress underneath the recal. It's not that big. No, I don't know why a mattress, but no, just ideas so
Why
that
not?
100 years from now or whenever they do a major renovation or take this building down someday, 200 years from now, 300 years from now, this building will last.
Are you going to post this in like manager's minute or something so people can
Yeah.
start giving suggestions? Because it's very cool.
Yeah, no, it's a neat thing. I sent it out to the committees, the relevant committees as well. And, we'll take that information, we'll put it, it'll be a fun thing to do.
That would
So,
be fun.
Yeah, and then I think there's going to be a topping off ceremony that, the relevant boards and stuff will be invited to. A topping off ceremony is usually done when the steel is done. And they paint the steel and then everybody can sign their name on the steel and it's in the building and it's there it's a nice thing that kind of the community can be involved in. And that we're probably going to do we'll wait to do that until the framing is done. And they just lift the last, so everybody signs the beam, you take a picture with the beam, whatever you want to do, and then they lift it into place. It is just a nice ceremony. No word on hot dogs for that one.
Will the hot dogs be there, Chris?
I have no,
Hot dogs.
I don't know,
Monday and
anything-
Friday.
I don't know anything about that, so, about hot dogs. Okay.
Great.
So moving on to the Killam, we have a general contractor. The contract has been signed with Brait Builders Corporation. They were a low bidder with a base bid of $75,233,800, which is approximately $14.8 million under budget. Brait came in with a low add alternates 1 and 2. So add alternate 1 is road improvements, offside road improvements to Charles Street, and add alternate 2 were road improvements to Haverhill Street. And through the various stages of this project, we identified, traffic issues and parking issues on those streets, and it made sense to include these pieces with this project because if the project comes in under budget, this is better for our budget as a town than trying to fund it out of our general paving budget or trying to find a complete streets, grant or something. So it's really worked out well. It was very smart to add these items into the project.
So it was Haverhill Street and
Charles.
right in
Yeah,
front. of
that's
the-
correct.
Yes.
And Charles is number 1. So if we can only do one, you do number 1 first. So Charles was a priority, but it's going to be great. So the total base bid plus add alternates 1 and 2 is $76,387,825. So that's a difference of $14,816,048 from the approved construction budget, which was $91,203,873. So just to take you back, digging deep, when we brought the project forward to the community, we said $130 million for the total project, and the construction price in our estimates at that point was $101 million. And that is part of our project funding agreement with the MSBA. As we went through our design, when we get to the 90% construction document phase, so we're deep into the design, we have a really good idea how things are going to cost. And through that process, we re-estimate the budget from time to time. That's when we get to that $91 million. So this comes in just $130 million $101 million, PFA construction estimate. We're $25 million under what we told the public that project would cost. So that's great news.
It is good news.
That is great news, yeah. So the plan right now is to place some of these savings in our owner's contingency. We're not borrowing but the value is there in case there are unexpected surprises, which happens. That's why we're very conservative. It does not mean we will be spending it. It also allows us to borrow less in the second tranche down the road. So I think that this speaks to maintaining conservative budgeting philosophy, working with and listening to our excellent consultants, designers and managers, and following our budget process. So that is fantastic news. Now that the contract is signed, we will begin construction on that site soon. They'll be doing some prep work, site work, and mobilization. I don't know the date on mobilization yet, but I don't think we talked about that at the meeting last week, but it's coming up. So we'll let the board know.
Can I just ask one question? So we're, approximately 14.5 million under.
Yep.
Do we know, will that come off ours or out of what MSBA's reimbursement is?
So that's a great question. That homework is being done now.
Okay, great.
The MSBA has already emailed us saying, okay, this is the date that it's due, and this is what we're expecting.
Okay.
So that work is being done. Our OPM is optimistic that we may realize a fair portion of that savings out of our obligation.
Okay.
So that would look something like, instead of 91 or the $86 million of the total project cost, so 130 million, 86 million is the town's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to look more like 60 million is the town responsibility. So again, these are very early numbers. We'll come back to you with more information as we do our homework here, but it's great news.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic news.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's great news. So we have a great team, and we have a lot of smart people working on this on our behalf, so it's good.
And what was the length of the tranche borrowing? Was that for 20 years, 25 years?
Yes, I think it is 15 years for Recal and 20 years for Killam. I think that's right.
That sounds right to me.
I think so, yeah. There was discussion about 10 and 20, but in order to make it a
It's a
little bit,
50-year building. It'd be good if residents over the course of 50 years that are benefiting from it shares in it and that helps affordability right now
yeah,
by not going for the shortest.
That-
Even though in absolute terms, a lot of people can't afford 15-year mortgages. They'd like to, but they can't.
right.
Thanks.
No, you're correct. So anyway, that is the project update.
Thank you.
And I will get the information, more detail on the borrowing for you, vis-a-vis how it breaks out for pickleball and Recal and Killam. So great suggestion.
Do we want to move on to Matera Cabin? Update?
We can. So we're not asking for any decisions tonight. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
We're not asking for any decisions tonight. This is just for discussion. So what you have in your packet are 2 quotes from GNAP. The first one has an estimated range, total all in, of $154,000 to $181,000 to complete the necessary requirements in order to bring this building up to a commercial use. And it would be for 20 people to be able to use this building.
At one time.
That's correct. That would be the maximum allowed in the building. The second, did we only give you one? Maddie, did we give them one or both?
There's 2 numbers on this.
One says 129
There's
to
two.
150, and one says 154 to 181.
No, there's 2. There's 2 estimates. All right, so I'll put the other one up on the screen. So hold on a second. So we went back to GNAP and we said, if we use our own contractors, the contractors that we still have, that we currently have in our agreements, rather than hire a general contractor to do the work. And Joe is an OPM, he has the requirements, so he could, be in charge of pulling that permit. We said, I'm going to scroll down here to these baseline numbers. It drops the cost and it drops some of the overhead requirements. So if you look here, direct cost subtotals and the contingency, like this estimating contingency kind of stays the same, but some of these other ones drop from the previous estimate because we're using our own contracts. So it saves us money. So this one, with the project contingency of 20%, goes from a low of 121 to a high of 142. Now, I'm going to take you back through this estimate. These items that are highlighted on the screen are items that I worked with the facilities and with the conservation administrator, Chuck Tyrone, to determine what are pieces that we can do in-house or with volunteers. As you know, he has a robust volunteer community. So some of the demolition can be done. Some of this handrail work can be installed. We have to buy the handrails, but we can install them. Some of this work for wood and framing on the deck on the back of the building, improving the joists on the front porch, some framing. Some of these items we also believe that our volunteers can do. They built the back deck. They need to raise just the top rail of the deck. So, smaller pieces can be done. We don't want them involved in any structural items. We don't want our volunteers to be doing any of the painting, moving any of the plumbing or the electrical, things like that. So there's very specific type of paint that has to be used inside because if you remember, the inside's all wood and that is not to fire code. So a particular kind of paint has
Wood
to be.
is not to fire code? Wood.
Not for commercial.
So that means
It's a
like,
finish.
we're gonna rip all this out, right?
No, it's the whole wall.
The whole wall.
The whole
is
wall.
Wood
Doesn't matter,
paneling.
wood is wood, so,
We are not proposing a change of use for this building. It is
Okay.
currently code. under
Well, I
code.
guess so.
We are not changing it.
We're covered. Those are covered.
Thank you. And then we believe that DPW can do some of the earthwork that makes the grading and so forth more ADA accessible. Under this, we have to have ADA accessibility in the front and in the back. Is that correct?
Yes.
To the
Like two
deck?
egresses.
Yeah, why don't we come up here, Chuck? Thank you.
I asked him if I could put him on the spot a little bit, so.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Chuck Tyrone, the Conservation Administrator. So that's as I understand it, that there needs to be two handicap entrances. It wasn't that way in some of these reports, but this is the final report and that's what it asked for.
Yeah.
So just to go over a few of the things. We looked at this and we felt that some of these things are like low level, really just homeowner type repairs that the volunteers could do and take some of the pressure off. A lot of the repairs that I agreed to and we talked about are outside. And so it almost separates the project. Inside would be the contractors that the town hires or through facilities, and the outside work would be the volunteers. So one of the projects is quite easy. It's just putting in new railings. So take out the railings, non-structural, and put in new railings with balusters. And it's very much similar to the process that we did on the back deck. So we do have the volunteers and they're willing to do it. For this project, we're not talking about this summer. They come in once a year. Plus we have volunteers throughout the town, a pretty strong group here in Reading. I was fortunate to come into a town that has a lot of volunteers already. We've supplemented that with some other groups. And so I feel very confident that we can take on what we've highlighted and get it done in time for the contractor to start.
Right. If we hire a contractor and move forward, all of that being equal.
Yeah, I'm just giving you the vision. Jane will give you, the details. Right, yeah, no, this has to be approved, of course. That's why we're giving you this first look at it now. Helping and
doing what we've always done. I mean, Matera Cabin has historically been taken care of by volunteers. What's happened, this process, if you understand what went on, was out of, our control. But if it never happened, I don't think that the volunteers would ever ask for anything like this. And I think they can manage the cabin after this. So if we can get over this hump, I think we're going to have a lot of years of smooth sailing ahead of us.
So we estimate that the town could save between 25 and 30,000 by doing some of this work ourselves, which brings this cost, down quite a bit. Additionally, I have, and I don't want to be premature about this, I've just set a phone call to talk to Northeast Metro Tech to see if this might be a project that their students are interested in taking on. It's an adaptive, reuse, bringing an older building up to code. One of the things we have to do is move the commode 2 inches to bring it up to make it accessible. And that's what has to happen. And and there's a number of things like that. And you have the plans in the packet, not to go over it in detail, but we have been over it in excruciating detail a couple of times. So I appreciate Chuck and facilities and, DPW for the participation and kind of working through this project, and the select board for sort of giving us the time to do this work, and the Permanent Building Committee for funding this work. Permanent Building Committee thought that the plans were in line, that the estimates were in line, and appropriate. So they felt that for the most part, but there wasn't a lot of discussion on it. The Permanent Building Committee, just a couple of comments were sent to us. So that's where we are right now. So I have that conversation coming up with the Regional Vocational Technical School, and we'll see what they want to do then. And if they want to take it on, that would be really fantastic, and we could work with them to make it match the curriculum of a variety of different trades. And if they're not, then we'll be back before the board to see if you have an appetite to bring funding. We'll have to fund materials. We'll have to fund the materials. But if we can do some of this with volunteers, it's not unreasonable to expect that we could do this for, $85,000, $90,000 in materials, and perhaps less if Northeast is helping us. I'm sorry, 90 with materials and labor, outside labor, maybe bringing that cost down even further if we're able to work with the school. Okay?
I think that'd be great if we can get that.
It would be wonderful.
Do we have air conditioning we don't have it's not really conditioned year round, right?
No. It is, solid wood walls. I mean, it's a cabin, so it stays quite cold in there. But, there's been occasions where people have had birthday parties or groups that come in for training, asked if they could bring an air conditioner. So
like the humidity is not good.
It's been noticed, yeah.
So, and the only reason I bring that up is since we're planning for the cabin, the heating system is 1990s era. It's gas, and the Green Communities projects or applications are like twice yearly. And here's another one where since it's shaped like a house, it's actually going to be pretty easy to convert, in my opinion, convert to
some heat pumps.
Yeah, because it's just like it is a residence, so it's not like trying to deal with Pleasant Street. So hopefully that means it's not that expensive. Maybe it's everything's more expensive when the government does it, but
that's correct. Yes, ma'am.
That should be energy saving, and it would get us off of some fossil fuel. There's too many trees over there for solar, though. I don't know if any are going to fall down. Any of those pines.
So we planned the pavilion to have solar.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So if you can, could work something out with that if possible.
We can try again.
Yeah, HVAC repairs or replacements are not included in these estimates.
Right.
But if it could be grant funded down the road, that would be great.
Yeah. Thank you. This is good. I think this is mostly good news. I mean, you want it to be accessible.
It needs to be accessible.
Lord knows what else you're going to find that needs to be kind of cleaned up, and we'll be in good shape, like you said.
That place has been gone over with a fine tooth comb, so we're pretty confident in these numbers a few times. So I think we're in good shape.
it's a great spot, and not only does it provide access for people in town at a very low budget. Our rates are very low, but it also houses the town trails committee that have like 17 or 18 miles of trails to take on, and they've used both sides of the garage, and when they have money, they fill it up with wood. And that's another thing that this building does for the community. It's just a base for all conservation activities. It's a base for all the people that don't do traditional sports. So it's I think it's becoming something very special out there. And I can't wait to come back and hopefully talk about when we're closer to making a decision and answer some questions that the board has. So I appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Well, one more thing, I don't know what the board members think, but, so it's a really big piece of property, and you got these students looking to use their skills, and if you can get a meeting and they're over there, like, do we need an outbuilding? Do they wanna build us an outbuilding? I mean, just, it'd be great to like, what else do you guys wanna do over here that we actually might need anyway?
Good to
Sign off on
keep it
your
in.
whatever hours you need.
We'll keep it in the back of our mind. I'm sure Chuck has a list of projects in the back of his mind.
I think we
Yeah.
need to see what happens with the override first before we spend more money.
No, exactly. My hope is that we can find a way to bring this in very, very low budget, but between the school and our volunteers. And so really, we're just looking at at the materials. But we have a plan. We'll work to execute the plan and see what we can do. Because the override's it's a big factor right now.
Or this becomes a talking point for the override, these are the things that we're being asked to fund that we can't fund. That's why we need an override.
We can that can be another conversation. It's not currently in the override budget that we're working on right now, but it could be.
Did you have something, Chris?
Yes, thanks, Melissa. So I vaguely recall it being 40, 50,000 back when we started, and I didn't hold you to it then kind of scenario. So obviously, it's a little bit more than that. But doesn't town meeting have to approve this? We can't just spend the money, right?
That's correct. We're not in a place to ask town meeting what that, I'm hoping that we can go down this other road with the regional school, the vocational school.
And I swear I'm not nitpicking. I just happened to end up on page 112
Okay.
randomly. And there is a drinking fountain for $2,500.
You better believe it.
Do we need a drinking fountain?
Yes.
As opposed to an actual Poland Springs thingy and be done with it?
I believe we have to have a drinking fountain that you can slide.
I don't want to,
I can ask.
Yeah.
I'm just
that would be a
saying,
great
like,
question. Yeah.
it just,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board. I believe it's a requirement.
has to have a drinking fountain.
Yes, sir.
We have one out that fall, I guess that's.
Well, I can understand, like,
Yeah, but, that's crazy, because that's a building that's not used all that often. to
That,
have
this
a
is
drinking
public building requirements. Same thing is true with, the private buildings that are open to the public have to have all these accessibility requirements.
so Recal is going to have drinking fountains all over the place.
Yes, yeah, it's in the plans.
That makes sense to
So
me,
is
though.
Killam, who can't
Well, I
use them
understand
today, but they've
Killam.
laid them.
No, and I
None of that.
understand
Why do you
it.
understand Killam and not like other buildings? That doesn't make any sense.
Because Killam has kids in it, and kids,
So it's not, but what about the rest of us?
like, if I
It's
could
just
save
a requirement.
$2,500, I would save $2,500 and put a Poland Springs
But
thing that
wouldn't the
out.
goal be
adults
to
can
have
use.
more people using it so that we can make
We can
more
only
money?
use 20 people. That's what you
Okay,
said.
20 people's 20 people. It's a couple
We
parties a
can't
day.
squeeze any more than 20. I don't see us ever making the money back that we'd put into this, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, for me, seeing it be under 100, seeing 180 or whatever that said on there was just completely,
You should definitely
know.
ask the select board to come and volunteer.
Yeah, even the painting has to be a specialized paint. So this is going to be the poster child for, I don't know, whatever the building code is, because everything is going to be brought up to date. We didn't have the luxury of getting the benefit of any grandfathering with the use that we already had. So we're starting from scratch.
And this is
And-
the minimum.
Yeah.
This was what is the least we can do to bring it to code. This is not, there are no nice to haves. This reuses the existing countertop and puts it back in, which we
Last
may
time we
not
did it
do
was
because
30 years ago. This is
I
ridiculous.
can buy it. I can go down to Home Depot and buy one less expensively.
We haven't really done anything since it opened.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we've done anything.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So,
Yeah.
money, yeah.
Have we
They
owned
don't
it
have
for
a
30
budget.
years?
They don't have a budget. That's why they need a budget.
No, I don't think so. I think
No.
it might be, the age of the building, but there was a lot of activity around 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah,
and-
okay, yeah.
And that's when we got a building permit in 2009, and there was all this remodeling when we first got it.
Got it.
And it was turned into this use,
Yep, okay.
and then we've used it this way for a long time, and then all of a sudden we discovered we weren't on the right page, and so that's why we're here tonight.
Great. Any other discussion from the board? Sal?
How much money do we make, like revenue off this year? Do we have any idea?
Nothing right now.
Yeah.
Virtually nothing.
No, and even before that, it was pretty de minimis.
It's, I mean,
Yeah, it's not a moneymaker. It's
No, it's not.
it's something that every town benefits from a town forest. Every town benefits from conservation land. And when everyone's been somewhere, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. When you drive in and you see that U.S. forestry building and parking spot, you get excited about doing hiking. This is more of a concept of what we're trying to do here. We'd like the building open so we can start soliciting groups to come in. We almost got a school here. We learned a lot of lessons through that. That school has been has a great spot now. Stoneham has decided to revamp one of their buildings to have them stay there. And so we lost out on that, but we learned some lessons. When we get our 20 people, which can work for a lot of organizations, we do have outside and we do have the pavilion. We can start shopping around and see if we can bring this up to date. But the first thing is to get it classified so we know what we're asking for. And then, where is the next spot like Bear Meadow and Matera Cabin? Does Stoneham have something like this? Does Wakefield? It's us. We have it. So I think we should keep it and we should promote it.
Winchester has the farm. I think that's the closest thing.
Yeah, they have a farm.
Yeah.
On the screen right now, to answer your question, these are the reservations since since January 1st, 2022. And it's, some birthday parties. There's a lot of, the library uses it a lot, Trails Committee, Community Garden, some small gatherings. And what it boiled down to from 2022 until we closed it, it was only $3,700. Okay? In that time. So it is not a moneymaker. Okay.
All right, thank
And,
you.
uh,
Hopefully
I'll-
we'll get good news from the vocational school and we can use the kids to, bring this number down somewhat and then get that building back open.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Yep.
Thanks.
9:15, or it was supposed to be 9:15. Let's move on to liaison reports. Who would like to start? Anyone want to start?
I can go if you'd like me to. It's a
Thank you.
short and sweet one.
That would be great, thank you.
June 10th, I attended the East meeting. They did some final wrap-ups for the Juneteenth celebration, which I unfortunately was unable to attend because I was out of town. They did a debrief of the Game Changer series and working on that and some educational efforts. I attended the Climate Advisory meeting on the 11th. That's another committee that's looking for people. And I'm trying to, I did during VASC, trying to recruit some people. So they discussed looking for engagement, discussed how to redefine their strategy and their purpose so they're more understood by the community, and ways to be more effective with their goals. And they had a goal setting discussion. And the other night, Eastern Gateway had a residential abutter focus group, which was very well attended, and the butters got to chime in on kind of a butter issues and what they wanted to see, and there was some really great questions and some really nice engagement, so that was good. And then VASC interviews took up a lot of our time. And I have office hours on Thursday at the Reading Housing Authority, Tannerville property from 4 to 5:30, 22 Frank Tanner Drive. Everyone please be mindful of residential parking spots.
Thank you, Karen.
That's all I got.
Anyone else want to go?
I can go real quick.
Sal?
We just finished up VASC. Obviously, that was a lot of work me and Karen put in. A few weeks of a lot of hours. I was away last week, so I didn't really get to attend any of my other meetings, but that's it.
Great, thank you. Chris?
Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, I attended the Killam School Building Committee meeting. Jane already went over that with the good news about the bid coming in significantly less. So that's very good news as opposed to the alternative. And then I also attended the Killam Kids groundbreaking that they had over there with the little shovels and everything for all the kids in the grades that were over there. They were very well organized and everything, so it's good to see that they got to participate, and then we'll have a real groundbreaking in the future. But for them, obviously, they're the ones that are going to be enjoying it and seeing it and dealing with all the pros and cons that's going to be going on over there. So yeah, that was a great experience over there. And then I attended the I wanted to say Shriners, the Reading Lions Club Friends and Family Day. That's great as always that they put that on. And then the Friends of Reading Rec. No, who's the one that does the fireworks? Friends of Reading Rec? Yes, I believe so. So many acronyms to get a hold of. The fireworks that night were, one of the best around this time of year, and especially with it, being put on by them and not the town. We don't have to pay for it, and it's 15, 20 minutes of pretty great work that they do over there. So it's good to see. Good to see that, and it's heavily attended as well. So, and I think that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Karen?
Yep. I attended and participated in the Pride Parade. That was a terrific event as usual. I believe it might have been the 6th event, and I was suggesting to Jane that she might want to ride with one of the police officers next year, because it's really fun, and every year there are more people out on their lawns. They know people are coming, and it's just a total blast. And then last weekend I participated in the Reading Town Day, and I think last year it rained, so this year was lovely, a little windy, and the grass looked phenomenal. Like, DPW's doing a good job. And then a lot of people made their way over to the Juneteenth celebration, which is the 5th or 6th, might be the same as the Pride. And so that was a really fun event, and the weather got so much better, and lots and lots of new Reading faces, and great food, and the music was unbelievable. And so that event is taking off, and the Office of Equity and Social Justice, Albert, is doing a great job of organizing that. And I appreciate all the volunteers and staff that put that together. It was a lot of work, great results. I also participated in the Green Community Celebration at the Reading Public Library, which doesn't have anything to do with the grant program. It's just an event to find out, what we're doing in Reading, or celebrate what we're doing in Reading to keep the climate green, keep the planet green. So I had a great opportunity to catch up with the Forest Committee members, Trail Committee members, Climate Advisory, and the Conservation Commission. And then they were all, I guess that was the night before Town Day, and then they were all headed to Town Day the next day. So volunteers working really, really hard, and it was such a fun event. And they had ice cream, which is good too. And then I was also invited to attend the end of year celebration at the Montessori school that we had the opportunity to put into Matera before we had to close the whole facility down. The Girl Scouts have been very happy with them. I understand they've offered for them to stay the next year. I did hear they were potentially looking at a Stoneham location, but I think they want to stay in Reading. And so this, they didn't get anything, or they didn't have a home, they didn't get this program underway until, late September, very late. They had 11 students. So for their end of year celebration, it was a multicultural, artistic presentation. And they have some really talented and award-winning faculty members, and the facility's wonderful, and it's such a win-win. And it's funny, I told them we were working on Matera Cabin, because they were very excited about that to begin with. So I think those, you were asking about revenue, so I think the discussions centered around about $8,000. It's not like a ton of money, but it helps pay for work that we need to be doing on a year basis. So Girl Scouts are great. They're great members of the community, happy they're getting it. And that was fun. And then one exciting thing, no meetings, but our new Elder Services Director, Carrie Valley, sent out a great memo that made a lot of the 60-plus community happy, very, very happy this year. She said, thanks to the generosity of donors and release of additional funding from the Council on Aging, she was able to make enhancements to transition from the ARPA-funded programming. So Pleasant Center residents are able to, once again, register for classes on a weekly basis for $5 per class, very affordable, allows them to keep the instructors, makes a lot of people happy. And then they even put in place a refund, not a refund policy, but a missed class policy, which works for the town and for the Elder Services staff. So kudos for Carrie, and it was a great memo as well. It was so many people have reached out to me. They're super happy that she was able to put that together. That's it.
I just have an update from the Board of Health. They spoke about a MassDOT funded micro transit grant that they received, nearly $1 million. And it will provide fare-free community-wide transportation beginning in July. And also, Board of Health had some, internal discussions about when they develop new regulations and how to properly communicate those to the residents. So they're kind of going through that process. No vote was taken, but they're just trying to figure that out. So next time any new regulations come forth, they, have a better process. So residents are made aware of things.
Right.
And that was it. I think we will move on to future agenda items. If anyone has, I know Maddie has some things listed for our upcoming meetings, but if anyone has any other suggestions, please let us know. I did have one question. Weren't we waiting on the charter to be signed by the state to add something to our agenda, or am I misremembering?
It was the majority vote, and one other thing.
Do we have to vote on that now?
The liquor thing, that was both.
So the liquor, I don't know.
Majority vote, but that's defined, I don't think it
We had a
changes.
to-do item for that. I've been asking for it.
I feel
Like
like
a select board policy.
I felt like we were waiting for that charter to be signed to add something to our agenda, but I can't remember, and I thought I had it on my list, but I don't.
The alcohol thing was
I
definitely,
believe we have to adopt the rule.
Okay,
because that was
Adopt the
voted.
majority rule.
Well, it's approved, so we'll go through it.
okay,
and see what
perfect.
there is.
I'll just keep it on
And,
my
follow up
future
on it.
list so we don't forget it.
Yep, and then we're still waiting for the senior tax relief to be signed.
Okay,
But the delegation has asked that that she signs an emergency declaration so that it goes immediately into effect and they don't have to wait 30 days after it's signed to be into effect, which is typical.
okay, great. Does anyone have anything to add to her July, or August meeting?
I think you're going to want to put override discussions on these.
Yes, I agree. Do you think that's better on, should we put them on both?
There's no reason, we're going to be talking about this until the decision's made.
Yeah, so why don't we have it on both, override discussion for both July 14th and August 4th? Just that way we have the flexibility of having conversations. Anything else? I know. Discussions. No? All right. I think we are good to go. Do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Seconded by Karen. All those in favor? 5-0. Have a good night.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.